of the fire pit, the flame almost mystically turns a bright green.
Ooh.
And like shadows cast along the inline of the tent. And within that green, you see a bunch of really lazy people not doing anything. And the village chief, in a sad tone, goes, "These wastrels have not been doing their task as we have required of them for the past centuries, for the past 1,000 years as our village has existed. They have forgone their sacred duty because, well, let's be fair, there is no sacred duty to be had. And worshippers, I've called you here because the great blue pearl moon that protects our village, it deters all forms of evil and misfortune. But this year, it has really worked overtime, meaning that there's no work left for our intrepid hunters. And these are the lazy bones you see before you in the fire." Without
Balance of the word has been thrown off, I see.
Indeed, it seems that the heavens are trying to influence our world more than they really should. We have a responsibility to the gods, and these losers have forsaken them. So we have to go for freelancers. But this can all be fixed with your help. We have to prepare for the lunar festival, the Charr, or else we'll lose the moon's favor, which means if we lose the moon's favor, I will no longer be able to wear the village chief's robes, and that's going to be a problem for me.
Oh, that's a shame. We can't allow that.
That is going to be a big problem. So, adventurers. And at this point, the village chief jumps up, and from his raised pedestal, he jumps up, and then height-wise, he falls down 3 feet, and he's just a mini man. He is 3'4", and has to shuffle along around the fire. His much too large village robes dragging behind him, almost catching fire as he passes the three of you, and he sort of he stands in front of you, Charr, and he bows or kowtows before you, and he says, please, I beg of you, Sharonda Spitz, will you lend us your aid for the village?"
How big are we talking here?
Okay, we're talking about 14 meters. That's the thing. That's the size of the thing.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. What is Char's inner emotional state when she hears 14 meters?
She's stoked.
Yeah. Absolutely. The little village chief shuffles while still kowtowing to Solomon and asks the same, please lend us your aid, Solomon.
Of course. And I make a gesture that symbolizes the folding of puff pastry upon itself, that the parts may make a greater whole.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, the village chief does something again akin to plopping a dumpling into his mouth. As to yes, this is the deal has been deal's been signed. And going along the shuffle route, the village chief ends up in front of Monster the Hunter.
The other way around.
Hunter the Monster.
That's okay. No, it's okay. No, that's what he calls him. He goes, "Oh yes, absolutely. That's my name now. I would absolutely 100% love to help you kill this monster. It is with great esteem that I destroy this monster to horrible pieces."
He shoots up at you saying kill. Well, you seem to be mistaken. We're not here to kill the divine beast. We're here to bring it down and restore balance and restore the sanctity of the community through the partaking in its holy flesh. Killing is...
He pulls out a notebook and writes, "Don't kill," and underlines it twice.
Don't kill. It's like a bad PR move. But the village chief resumes. Yes, well, thank you for offering us your aid, and I'm sure with, like, let's be real, the heat you're packing, this is gonna be a woozy. Thank you all, and in my next term of village chief, which will undeniably be coming around after today, I will make sure to raise big statues in your honor.
Oh, I have you. Please do not raise a statue in my honor, but do please raise a statue in his eminence, the Burger Emperor, the Burger Emperor, whom I represent.
Oh, I did not know you were a delegate.
Oh, I try to keep my ambassador. Oh my God, this is like me waking up trying to do this. It was the worst idea. I try to keep my ambassadorial. This is just how this character speaks now.
Yeah.
I try to keep my ambassador duties as far away from my important, very highly esteemed research as much as possible. But yes, I do fully represent the Burger Empire in all of its forms. And I'm just here to provide you with the best that we can offer.
Wow, such a altruistic empire that you serve.
Oh, absolutely. They're so nice. We're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, I'm sure no consequence of
absolutely none.
No, absolutely. Why would there be?
Only positive consequences.
Oh, I love those.
Such as great, affordable burgers for everyone.
Wow, I don't know what a burger is, but it sounds great.
You've never had a burger?
I've never.
Oh, I have to make you one of mine.
Oh, well, I mean, we're going to make the booze for the Lunar Festival, but afterwards, buddy, you can fire up that grill anytime.
Oh man, you wait till I see you wait to see what I do with that divine beast meat.
The village chief clasps his hand it's very, very good. Do any of the other worshippers, the Solomon or Charr, have an opinion about this so-called Burger Empire?
Charr has no opinion about the Empire, but she does look at the guy and just point at him with the sword and just say, "The statue better be of me."
I need no statues. My work is enough.
Sorry, what was that, Dave?
I need no statues. Doing the holy work is enough.
Oh, well, Charr, sounds like you're getting 2 statues then.
She just fist pumps.
How about one of Charr, one of the Emperor, and one that's half the Emperor and half Charr?
Whoa, Charr, Lady Charr, I did not know you were next in line to inherit the title of the Emperor.
Oh, absolutely not. Let's not get unrealistic here. Okay. But I, as a proud centrist, love to compromise.
Oh,
do you have a recipe for us?
Yes.
A little. I was gonna say a lot of stone.
For the statues. Yes, the recipes. Let's get down to brass tacks, because this particular beast requires a very hands-on approach. So, what you'll be facing is the Guardian of the Moon, Ure Primigenius. This is the oxen god that hides behind the moon, grazing its eternal lunar fields, and we need to create booze dumplings, if you've never heard of those, from its holy meat. And I think right now, from one of his giant sleeves, the village chief procures the recipe you see on screen right now, or in the Roll20.
Cool.
So we'll do a little bird's eye view of the 3 of you sitting around the recipe and the village chief explaining it. We'll just do it going from the top down. So, as I said in the introduction, the recipe has to be followed like chronologically and to the letter. Failing to do a step in the recipe has consequences for the cooking phase. Concretely, there's going to be a delicious tracker, which tracks how tasty the dish is going to be at the end, and a disaster tracker, which goes up to 10. Once you max out the disaster tracker, it's game over, unfortunately. So it is very important that this never ever fills up all the way. If you fail a step in the recipe, that's a surefire way to get the disaster track to just shoot up a bunch.
Yeah.
So the first cutting instruction is to lure the oxen god from its lunar fields down to the ritual arena by uprooting the local moontear mandragoras. Mandragoras. I have no idea. You have to extract or harvest their roots and cook them in a kumis pot. And if you don't know, kumis is like a low percentage alcoholic drink that is made with goat milk, but you can also substitute it with bovine milk. This is a very common drink in like Mongolia or Central Asian cities. People love this shit. Thankfully, the nose plugs and the kumis are provided. The second step, and this tells you a little bit of like how the encounter is gonna go. Like once the Ure Primigenius touches down to the ritual arena, you're gonna have to devise a way so it doesn't have a direct line of sight with the moon anymore. This reduces its size, halves it, in fact. And as I mentioned, it's 14 meters upon touchdown. It's gonna be 7 at the end. Still pretty big. Number 3. At its half-sized of 7 meters tall, it's still gonna be a menace. You have to topple some of our extremely holy pillars surrounding the arena on top of it to tenderize it while blood is still flowing. There's only 4 pillars. So the more you succeed at toppling on it, the better it's going to work out for you. But you have to, from the step, you're going to have to do at least 1. Number 4 is open to interpretation, intentionally so. You have to capture the heat of its furious breathing for later use in the cooking. And last step of the recipe, show the moon that its guardian has done its good job and lay it to rest. Adorn its head with a crown made from moon tears. Close its eyes and send it back to the lunar field. So, after the bull god has done its duty and you've extracted all necessary ingredients for the lunar festival from it, you send it off with a sign of utmost respect.
Yes. So tell me of this arena. How large is it?
Well, it is. I think out of character, the arena is going to be large enough to accommodate a 14-meter bull from the start, but to give you sort of I'm very bad with imperial measurements, but it's gonna be 30 by 50 meters, which means that there's gonna be the bowl is going to take up most of it at the same time, but there is walking room. There is sufficient walking room around the bowl, and you can also sneak. You can also go outside of the arena if you need to do something for the pillars, for instance. It's not a closed off space.
Yes. Is it sunk into the floor? Is it a constructed building?
It's on the plains, a stone circle kind of situation. So you'll be far, far away from any notion of civilization within this arena, the stone circle. You can go outside it, but for all intents and purposes, everything outside, inside of the arena, with the pillars surrounding it, that's 30 by 50, excuse me.
So there's no major landmarks around that area, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Tell me,
moving. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
how do we recognize the moon tears?
Oh, the village chief chuckles a little bit. Well, you'll recognize them from the fact that there'll be pretty large carnivorous plants that will try to gobble you up. Don't you?
Oh.
They speak for themselves. He chuckles to himself. But the moon tears and the mandragoras from which they grow have a special relationship with our oxen god. Without them, there would be no plain on which we settle. There would be no grass. There would be no grazing. There would be no room for any of our herds. There would be no us without these horrible, horrible plants.
Of course, it is the balance of the world.
Is there a specific time at night that this this beast will appear?
When the moon is full, so it's gonna be a nighttime mission.
Mm-hmm.
But the summoning, getting it down from the lunar fields, can be as long as there's no sun around, and for all intents and purposes, you're not on the time limit. So that you can take
right. I'm thinking specifically of how exactly to break line of sight with it in the moon.
Right. Okay. Let's say that the moon isn't directly above the sun circle, because that would make it impossible.
Right.
So if you imagine the 4 pillars at each cardinal direction, imagine that the moon is peeking over the northmost pillar.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the chief continues to explain the side dishes, which is side objectives you can complete for extra boosts, for little bonuses during the cooking phase, or straight up plus boons to your delicious tracker. So the milk of the oxen god will provide the buzz to the booze. That's my addition. I only put that in because I just wanted that pun in there. But it's if you manage to get its milk, then that's going to help you out a lot in the cooking phase. There's also the ground up powder from the horns, which acts as a cooking ingredient, but the village chief acts a little bit awkward when describing this, stimulating.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I have an idea for possibly how we could prevent it from seeing the moon.
I've devised several as we've written this recipe. What did you have in mind?
I was thinking that since his breath is scalding hot, we could put a pastry lid over it.
That's way less complex than what I had in mind, but that is a great idea.
Please tell me your idea.
Well, I have several shells that split off into something of a parachute, and I was thinking we have that, and we shoot that off, let it wrap around several of the pillars so that it completely cuts off the view of the moon from the arena. And also, of course, it would be emblazoned with the sigil of the Empire.
There it is.
It's normally something that we use for celebrations to shoot off into the sky. Something to really let the people know what a great job we're doing. But I think we can make a way more practical use of it that way. Perhaps we can try both of these methods. In case one doesn't work, we can try a pot lid.
Very well.
What does Charr think of these plans?
We should just cut it up.
A brutal way to handle this situation. Yes, I think that is one we can definitely do. I think we should definitely encompass all of these plans.
I believe that we shall be doing the cooking later.
All right.
So,
Are there any questions, or are you ready to head down to the arena?
I believe that we need to harvest the Mandragora first.
Indeed. Those will be already at the ritual arena, infesting our most sacred place. Well, not really infesting because they are themselves holy plants, but you know what I mean.
I will also need some grain to make my pastry.
Some grain.
It does not have to be edible by men.
Well, we have plenty of food from last harvest for our herds, so that will be no problem. We can deliver a couple of sacks of grain to the site before you arrive.
It will have to be very thin pastry then. I'm sure I can manage.
We, of course, will assist you in any way we can, but of course, this is something that only worshippers can do. If we interfere too much, then, well, I'm
The
not
rite
sure.
will be incomplete.
Yes. It's like a
Before
salt.
we head out, may we have a prayer? I
What is-
say, looking at my companions.
I put my fist to my chest and I say, "All hail."
Oh boy.
Charr just like rolls her eyes and spits on the ground and walks away.
I like to imagine that the spit like goes into the fire, and like the lazy hunters that you've been seeing all this time just like start like the image of it, just like they start screaming and they're on fire all of a sudden. Ah! And then there's like the fire goes out.
Jesus.
So,
Okay. So, are we good with with like teleporting, like picking up and dropping you all like
oh yeah.
at the ritual arena?
Mhm.
So, like, in the middle of these windswept plains, you see like the grass, like you see, like, the grass sort of like forming waves as like it is played with by the wind itself, like zephyrs from like the west and the north like, stroke it, basically like a giant
Mm-hmm.
hairdo, and in the middle, jutting from the ground like four tall as can be stone pillars that are connected by ritual flags and all sorts of adornments. Like this is the holiest place for this community. And you approach there with the moon like on the horizon. Like the three of you arrive there in the pale moonlight, almost blinding. The closer you get to this arena, like the moonlight almost gets blinding with how bright it is. And
It is a holy place. Can you not feel the sanctity of this ground?
I don't necessarily consider places holy as much as people who the people who occupy those spaces. We don't necessarily need to classify something as holy quite this second. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, as he says that, I kind of look towards the moon as it like shines down, almost as bright as the sun.
yeah, I mean, who's the first to set foot into the arena itself?
I feel like probably Charr.
Yeah. What you see as you step foot is like not like an overgrown amount of mandragoras, but like a lot of them. Just having these like to describe them, they are like Venus flytraps jutting out of the ground, but they have like a couple of incisors in them, and they make like these weird chewing motions with their where their mouths would be, and adorning them like for the little patch of grass from which they grow are just like covered with these beautiful silver flowers with a golden center. Like everywhere where these mandragores are, it's like the silver moonlight seems to, like the moon seems to grow from the ground in terms of color. And for the recipe, these are the things that you're gonna have to uproot a little bit.
So, does anyone have a plan for trapping its prey?
I'm still not entirely sure what that means, but I think we can figure it out as we're going along.
If you are sure.
I feel like Charr just like kind of like puts the paring knife on her shoulder, like Cloud Final Fantasy style. It's just like, why don't I just like distract them and you can dig them up?
Let us go.
No, absolutely. I was getting to that. So, since we're now going into actual game mechanic modes, we'll be rolling some of our stats here. So each worshiper has 4 stats. There's Sharp, which is applied anatomical knowledge, studying the blade, both sword and fillet knife. There's Instinct, which relates to heightened sentence, detecting a lack of cumin or an incoming stale swipe. Bombast, a flair for the dramatic, applied to setting traps or decorating cakes. And Artisan, an academic knowledge of the culinary arts and monster physiology. All 3 of you have assigned numbers 1 to 4 in each of these 4 stats. And of course, like the higher the number is, the better you are at this given thing. For the cutting phase of the recipe, you'll be making use of the following moves. So you'll roll certain stats for the moves that you want to do. The moves in question are Scouting, which is surveying the surroundings, discerning dangers, and identifying weaknesses. Harvesting, which is to gather resources from the surroundings or from the living. Communing is making your feelings known to the living things around you or the earth itself. And engineering is using a tool, combining items, or laying traps. Now, as you can see on the Roll20, the first step highlights that you have to use a target value 16 harvest move in order to gain access to the Mandragora roots, and then cooking them in a kumis pot, which requires a target value 10 engineering roll. How you get those, how you get there, is entirely up to you. Like, this is a very, very free form, Monster Hunter style. Like, how do you do this kind of situation?
Gotcha. So we're not are we doing scouting like in this? Because I think that's exactly what Hunter wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to scout the general area. He wants to set his gun up somewhere outside the arena, so he has a clear shot from a good distance.
Well, that's a very good idea. Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's get the first roll of this of the first ever roll for this game ever going. So how it's gonna work is basically I'm gonna call out a target value. I have a little table which is the easiest thing, easy to nightmare difficulty. The trick is to just like I explained, either land on that target value or get close to it, and to never if you overshoot it or undershoot it, then it's going to have consequences in some senses. It's going to either be a full success, critical success, partial success, or an abject failure. And good luck. Have fun trying to figure out the math of it all. What I want what I want Hunter the Monster to roll is a target value of. Let me get my notes. Of 12.
Okay. So what exactly am I rolling on? You provided us with roll to cook and roll to hunt buttons. Am I just gonna roll a certain amount of dice?
I will appear from the ether very briefly to explain how those macros work since I put them
Gotcha.
together. If you hit one of those, so there's a different macros for the hunting phase and for the cooking phase. So don't worry about the cooking macro just yet. If you hit the roll to hunt, then it's going to ask you specifically what you are trying to do. So it's asking whether you are trying to scout, harvest, commune, or engineer. Under the circumstances that you're going to be doing in terms of finding a good place to set up the gun, that probably feels like a scout, but you can make a reasoning for whatever you want to do. Then it'll ask you what stat that you want to use, of sharp, instinct, bombast, or artisan, and then it'll ask you for the value of that. So it should ask you 3 separate things and then roll for you.
Alright, let's give it a shot. I'm going to scout. What stat? So when it comes to a stat, like how exactly am I like trying to determine what stat I would roll on?
That is kind of what your own argument wants to be. So if you were scouting, for example, with sharp, you might be cutting down some of the surrounding trees so you can get a perfect shot from a grassy knoll, or you might be using bombast because you have a massive gun and you don't do subtle things with a massive gun. So it's entirely up to you to kind of reason out the stat that you want to use. Some of the skills in the list will require specific things from you. So in this instance, when you want to harvest the Mandragora specifically, you have to use Harvest. Sometimes it might ask you to only use Bombast or only use Artisan. But if it doesn't request one, you can use whatever you like.
Okay.
That's a vanish into the ether once again.
I think Bombast makes sense because he's getting out here to set up a huge gun. He's got several of his minions who he has told cannot stay once it starts. So he has them there all dragging several different cases. They're just huge metal pieces. And then within a few minutes they're setting up this just really large cannon piece by piece, a couple of them standing on each other's shoulders to make sure it's aligned and calibrated properly. And then he's looking at all the finer details on it, and he's making sure everything is lined up, calibrated exactly as it needs to be. And I think Bombast makes sense for that because there's nothing subtle about this.
No, absolutely
the
not.
slightest.
Okay.
All right, and that would be 3.
3.
So rolling the dice. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well.
This is interesting. So I can, this is a failure. If you deviate more
Is it?
3 away from the target value, then it is a failure. But one of your teammates, one of your fellow worshippers, can contribute to the roll by assisting you with a teamwork roll. So that is entirely up to them if they if it is in character, if they want to help with the setup. But I'll just leave that up to you. If anyone wants to chime in.
Charr is not helping.
No, absolutely. So it sounds like this is we'll just roll with the punches here. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say that you don't know this. I can't remember if it's Monster or Hunter first. It's Hunter Monster.
It's Hunter.
Hunter the Monster.
Just like Hunter Biden.
Oh, Stop. You get you don't notice Hunter, but minion number 4 actually messed up the reload mechanism of this.
That's good.
So
No, that's bad. I mean,
So while the cannon is set up and it does have like a nice overview of the arena from where it is standing, you won't notice until you try to load in a second shot. Who knows what might happen? And we'll also engage a little bit with what happens if a failure comes into play. Let me see real quick. Nathan, real quick. Did we decide on...
Yes, indeed. Being off by more than 3 on the target value is a failure. The plan may still happen, but in a way that damages or spoils what's being worked on. Disaster increases by 1.
There we go.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing, right? When disaster goes up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Number go up. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, I love when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
We want all the numbers to be big.
Yeah. So yeah, you've completed setting up your cannon. Good job. Nothing's going wrong.
Yeah.
What if it's something like, since the shell that we loaded in, which is initially going to be the blocking of the big flag one is loaded wrong, like part of the fabric is like stuck on the mechanism.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Yeah. So you won't know what's gonna happen until you actually press fire.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So, my preparation before we go hunt Mandragora is to get this pastry started, because it needs quite a while for the gluten to develop. Otherwise, it's not going to stretch out over the arena properly.
Yeah.
So while Monstar is setting up their gigantic cannon, I shall be sat cross-legged with my enormous rolling pin, rolling out the largest batch of pastry ever seen by human beings.
I love this. Like, you've arrived here. I love to imagine like you've arrived here to do battle, and like the two of you just like start doing your own thing. I was like, you just walk off and just like, okay, let's start making pastries. So yeah, I'm gonna say that the village has provided you with like enough grains to like make the plan work. In theory, you don't know how it's gonna pan out until you actually
I'm gonna roll for it when it comes up.
Yeah. So I'm also gonna say that this is gonna require like a couple of steps. This sounds like a very big project. So if you want to start working on it now, I'm gonna say
engineer.
Engineer sounds very feasible.
And I was gonna roll it from artisan.
An artisan, okay. I'm gonna say that the target value for this one is gonna be 15.
I am going to need some help because I cannot. Well, I can just make that in theory. Is anyone up for helping?
I'm a little busy at the moment. I'm like, still
What are you
getting
trying?
things
You're just making pastry.
Well, the idea was that we can cover over its line of sight to the moon, was to put a giant pastry lid over the arena.
I feel like Charr could be talked into helping, but you would have to, I feel like, reverse psychology her into it, to where she'd be like, "Fuck you, I can do this."
It is okay. It is not something I think that you would. It takes a lot of focus.
A lot of strength too.
She just comes over and just like pushes him over and is like, "What do I do?"
Okay, so I think the best step for you would be the kneading. So you fold it and you punch it.
I'm gonna do that.
Cool. All right, so I'm gonna make my artisan roll. 10.
Okay. So that means with the teamwork roll, and now we can get into those mechanics. The target value is 15. Ty, you get to choose like what kind of stats and what kind of move you're gonna do. Like for the sake of like what you're making this pastry lid. I think it's going to be like an engineer move, but you get to decide on which stat you'll be rolling in order to get there.
Well, definitely not artisan.
So
Probably.
the others are good.
Yeah, literally anything else is better than that. I guess instinct, because I guess she's probably just like focusing really hard because he said that you had to focus really hard, and she's like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna focus so hard."
To appear from the ether again, very, very briefly. Remember that going over the target value is also not a good idea. So picking a number that will get you close to it but not overshoot is also part of the plan.
Actually,
but narratively,
then I'm gonna
if you want to go
change
above and beyond, that is entirely a thing you're allowed to do.
It's all about telling a good story.
I'm gonna change it, actually. I'm gonna do bombast, because it's gonna be very, like, anime fucking punching dough.
Oh my god, yes.
Aura.
Yeah, no, we get like the perspective, like the zoom in on Char's face as she just like starts punching the dough, and like it starts flying everywhere, like just like. So yeah, give me a 2d6 roll.
Oh god, I went to the Twitch chat instead of this chat. Oh god, I know you guys already explained how to do the dice macros, but
It's all good. It's all good. So if you go to, do you have the macros at the bottom of your Roll20?
I think so.
If not, then you can go to the.
I have the thing checked. Oh,
Yeah.
there. Okay, I get.
Cool.
I had the show the bar and then not the actual commands. Okay.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, hit roll to hunt, and then put in your engineering, and you're using bombast with 2 dice.
Bombast. 2.
Ooh, that is.
Oh.
Okay, so that is
kind of just evened out.
Yeah. So that isn't a total of 20. The target value is 15. So what I want to do is I want to let like Dave narrate like how Solomon approaches his half of the task, and how then Charr goes in and then performs her half of the task, and I'll take to like describe the results.
So Solomon approaches this as like a meditative exercise. You know, almost like the kneading of the dough, that repetitive motion, the emptying out of thought, and the purification of the soul in preparation for the sacred hunt. You know, it's like very ritualized motions, very by the books.
Nice. And Charr?
Char's just furiously fucking punching dough and probably really overdoing it. Yeah, just like some Naruto shit.
So time skip to the end result, and I'm gonna say that you know how like you put the cake in the oven and you have very high hopes for it, right? Like it will have risen nicely. Not that you're putting this in the oven, but like you have high hopes for how it's gonna look, and then you take it out of the oven and there's just like it's spilled over and there's tears in it. And I'm gonna say that you have formed a dough circle, but with the like it's just an outline of a circle. There is no inside. Like that's all been torn. That's all been punched out, basically. And that also increases the disaster tracker, I'm afraid, by another one.
We have done what we can, and all we can do now is hope that the draping means that it cuts off its line of sight.
But I will say you do have like a malleable and sturdy enough, basically dough lasso. Right. I think after these two, like the sort of like the punching and the setting up the cannon, I think one of the mandragores actually takes notice of the party, what you're doing, and it's using it's like what it does. I like in my mind, these mandragoras are like they have petals that work as hinges. So like you have the central mouth Venus flytrap thing, and they are attached that is attached to like side hinge, like biological organic side hinges, and they sort of like fall forward onto the grass of the ritual circle, and they start like dragging itself. It starts dragging itself towards Charr and Solomon, and surprisingly fast, honestly. You see this plant with giant teeth inside of its body, like make its way towards you.
Charr is immediately gonna start running at the plant.
Yeah. Cool. You gonna just like fucking draw your sword and go at it?
Yeah, just gonna fucking let's fight this mean plant.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna say that is gonna be a target value of 12.
Okay.
How do we get this part of the harvest? We're gonna have to fight this thing and dig its roots up anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a good point, because eventually, depending on how well you cut it, you're gonna have access to the roots. Could you explain which stat you rolled?
Yes, I did harvest, and I used my sharp stat because it's my sword stat.
There we go.
And I got a 10, which is not enough, which is annoying because I had 4 dice.
It's if I get a chance to help out. I will also be attempting to bludgeon this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Teamwork absolutely is.
Yeah.
There's no GM interruption. Like, you decide if you want to help out.
And I would be using... I'm just going to be trying to bludgeon this thing, which means I'm using my sharp, which is 2, which hopefully will come up as a reasonable number. No, it did not come up as a reasonable number.
20.
It came up with a thoroughly unreasonable number.
Okay.
That is
So
ridiculous.
I will jump in here and say, like, target number 18, because thank you for correcting me. Yeah, this is like part of the first step. Target value of 18. You rolled in total 21. Now, if you roll being off the target value by 3, it is a partial success.
Woo!
So that's good. That's good. Partial success. You did it.
Oh, God.
So-
Something didn't go terribly.
Partial success means the plan goes your way, but there are drawbacks. The player who initiated the roll in this case chooses to either decrease or increase disaster by 1, or decrease delicious by 1. If delicious is at 0, disaster must be increased, which it is. So,
having dice luck today of some description.
yeah, I mean, high numbers. So in any other game, this would be like good. But Nathan and I created a very thorny dice rolling mechanic.
Yeah. So the average for those 2 dice was going to be like, what is it? Like 6, 7. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's why I went for that.
Yeah. Again, very like this is a very like if you look at my little cheat sheet for like what is an easy, what is a normal, what is a difficult roll, it's very like statistical, and that is part of the fun Nathan and I like came up with. Like you have to choose like what is the risk here.
I am very much enjoying the picking your stats so you're not using your best one. That is that's very fun.
So, yeah, Charr, please describe, or actually, since you both helped on the same roll, is it going to be like a combo attack? I want to see these 2 work together.
Okay. So, how is Charr going in on this?
Ty? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's get a quick...
Here we go. We can resolve the roll and maybe check and see what Hunter's doing while Ty is reconnecting if there's a connection issue.
Okay, yeah, it seems to be. Okay, so... oh, yeah, there you are. Hi.
Hi. I don't know what happened. My internet was just like, what if I just simply stopped?
Hey, I had that at the start of the stream too.
For a second
Technology is a curse. Don't worry about it at all.
If you can't live without it. So, yeah, like, how does this combo attack by Charr and Solomon look?
So I think because the paring knife can be used as a shield as well, that's like its like other cool little thing about it that we decided. I think Char's gonna go looking like she's gonna do like a really big attack, and then when the plant like tries to eat her, she's gonna like use the sword as a shield and like wedge it in its fucking mouth, and then Solomon can give it a whack.
Nice.
Yeah. And as it buries its teeth around the edge of the blade, the great big rolling pin comes and smacks it in the back of the head, like pushing it onto the blade.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you give it a conk, and like its tongue flies out, and it bites down on its own tongue, and it just like there's little like a bunch of like giant balls circling it as a like its head, like it's unconscious. Yeah, no, this Mandragora just like conked out, lights out. Its roots totally available for you to gather. I also think that, like, upon noticing one of their fallen brethren, the other Mandragoras just start furiously digging down. They're like their mouths start rotating, and their teeth sort of like act as drills and just, like disappear under the ground. Like, this is bad. But you have procured the Mandragora roots for the first step of the first step.
Woo.
Right.
Nice. Hunter, what are you doing?
What do we still need to do for the initial cutting?
So we need to boil the roots, and someone poised best to make a crown now.
Yes.
So we don't have to do it later.
Yes, that's a very good point. So step 5 is making a crown using the moontear flowers that are like adorning the Mandragora plants. I think like one of your minions, Hunter, roll like a kumis pot into the arena, and like, while holding it, so like holding their own nose, offers the team like a bunch of nose plugs because, hoo boy, this thing smells.
Okay. You said we still needed to make a crown.
Yes.
I would like I would like to do that. I like casually walk up and I like stick my hand out and I go, yeah,
Of course.
and I take it, I bring it back to the table that's like right next to my huge cannon, because that's like the only actual table that we have set up out here right now.
Yeah.
And I start attempting to craft this crown. Do I have like a set of instructions on how exactly it should look?
Nope.
Okay, so he's just like freeform creating this crown. I would like to roll artisan on that.
That makes a lot of sense. To use your artisan, and what, like, are you thinking?
What move would that be?
Again, that's up to you. Like, is this to you, like, for Hunter? Is this just like a mechanic rote action, or does this have?
Yeah, I it's like the way he does it. the way he's like crafting this crown by hand looks very artistic, but in his head it is entirely mechanistic because he's not a person that believes in artistry. Like
Right.
he only believes in mechanism. So I think we're gonna do engineer.
Okay. No, that's I love that little bit of world building. So I'm gonna say that because of that sort of like lack of like spiritual connection to the act, is gonna be a bit of a difficult role. So
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be target value 19.
Okay.
So that's 4d6, I believe.
Yep. That's a 15.
Ooh, that's very close. Is anyone gonna help out
What was the
Hunter?
difficulty?
It's 19. So he's 4 short.
If you roll a dice, then
Yeah.
I think we'll be fine.
No, literally. You just have to roll them.
like oh I'm just looking at our stats. What if Ty walks up and goes, "You missed something right here"? For artisan.
So
Or
do you?
Charr does.
Are you still there? The infamous internet.
I was hoping Joe was. So I'm going to sort of look. I can see that he's not quite getting the sort of spiritual thing. I'm sort of going to be a little bit, officious about the sacredness, which is like using my bombast. It must be more rounded that side. It must
Alright.
reflect the moon.
And Hunter has a moment of spiritual connection.
I love, yeah, I love like being told that he's wrong, and he goes like, "Oh my god."
Well, we're one out.
That's good.
We succeeded at a thing! Finally!
Oh, we lost Ty.
Good. We can kind of stay the course until time reconnects. Everybody's been
Yeah.
patient with my disconnecting, so it's all good.
This is amazing because target value 19. You rolled a 5, which prompts it up to 20. So being off the target value by 1 to 2 is a success. Oh my god!
We succeeded!
I'm gonna make an actively rewriting the rules circumstance here. It feels a little bit too punishing in this instance. A success should actually increase delicious by 1, and critical should increase by like 2 or 3. So yeah, I'm gonna say you get a delicious point for that. Otherwise, this is gonna be cruel for everyone involved.
Hooray!
Hooray! You succeed.
Okay.
And I'm gonna make a mental
Can you
note for
hear me?
myself to fix that roll. Yes, we can.
Yes,
hear you.
we can hear you.
We'll come back.
I don't know what my internet is doing.
Messing
not,
with
not
the
a problem
heart.
at all. We can
Oh,
take a break in a little bit and maybe kind of make sure that even my internet and my stream's working correctly too as well. So don't worry about
Homophobic.
it.
True, it is homophobic.
All right. So yeah, you successfully, like, the two of you bring your like best creative minds together and create this beautiful, beautiful wreath of like these silver flowers with golden centers. And this is going to be useful for when you, for when the bowl touches ground. In the meantime, I would like to ask Charr, like, what she's doing, because you've acquired the mandragora roots. They just have to be cooked in order to like lure the bowl down. Is that something that? Is that something, Ty? Is that something that you see Charr doing?
I feel like Charr is trying to figure out where the other plants went.
Oh my god! Yeah, I mean, if you wanna try that out, like, absolutely give me a scout roll.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna do like scout and instinct probably. Okay, roll to hunt.
Yeah, and target values, I think it's going to be, let's say 12. It's an easy one.
Are you kidding? Oh wait, I'm within 3, right? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah. So
Yes.
being off at 1 or 2 is
Ooh,
actually success. So
Ooh.
that is success. Congratulations. That increases the delicious track by 1, and your action, like your plan, goes off without a hitch. Describe to me like how Charr like senses or sensates the whereabouts of these plants.
I feel like she goes over to like where they like dug down and just like sticks the sword into the ground and like holds onto it and kind of just like feels around if there's any like vibrations from them moving and just
yeah.
kind of like tracks them that way.
Oh no! Oh, totally. Yeah, and you get like a silhouette. Like everything fades to black. And you see like ripple effects emanating from her sword through the ground. And I'm gonna tell
It's
you
like the
that
Last of Us listening mechanic.
exactly. And I'm gonna say that you notice that the mandragoras are burrowing in a way that isn't just like, oh, we're fleeing underground to get away from danger. They're actually forming a pattern. And this kind of ties into like you rolling instinct. You notice that they might be preparing an attack of their own.
I feel like she's just gonna like look at like Hunter and Solomon and just be like, the plants are gonna come back. So we should probably deal with the plants before the bull. Just the plants are gonna come back.
Are you sure? Well, in that case, I shall defer to your expertise.
She just like looks at Hunter. She's like, "Hey, burger guy, do you have like a trap or some so we can get the plants out of the ground?"
That's an interesting prospect. He looks through several of his shells that he has like for his cannon, and he grabs like a paring knife out from under his coat, and he uses the bottom of it to just like tap it a couple times, and then he doesn't like what he hears, so he moves on to the next one and taps it, and he's like, and then he taps one more, and he's like, oh, that's the one. So he pulls the shell out of just like a wooden crate, and like brings it on over to the spot where she believes that the mandrigas are gonna be, and is like, we just need to, as soon as they pop up, we just need to ignite this. Since the cannon's already loaded, I can't fire a shell directly on this spot. But if we're able to spark it, we shouldn't have any issue with them.
If I hit it with the sword, will it spark?
I like that idea a lot, but you might want to hit it and not stand very close.
So, should I begin the cooking somewhere nearby?
Cooking is also a very good idea. That's a great way to spark things. You know what? We're all cooking. Like we all are chefs in some regard. We should just be able to light a fire.
I gesture to the fire that I've got ready for the curry spot.
That's great.
Okay,
that's perfect.
Wait. Counter pitch. Solomon starts cooking the roots to call the bull, and we kill these.
I think that would be agreeable.
Also, can I pick up the shell and So out of character.
You pick it up and you pick it up with one hand.
just in one hand easily. So my idea is that Hunter should be bait, and when the plants pop up, he runs out of the way, and then I'm gonna throw the shell and baseball hit it with the sword at the plant.
Awesome. I mean, hell yeah. Yeah, let's prep for that like simultaneously. Let's go over to Solomon, who's just like adding the
problem
roots.
is if someone needs to help me with this.
That's true.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. I'm totally gonna roll a 10 here. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I can do with some help because that's pretty bad.
Yeah. So if one of you decides to help Solomon to with his role, that is going to like lock out a teamwork action for drawing out the Mandragoras.
Yep.
What do we think?
I go over to assist Solomon, as I am not as Hunter is not necessarily someone who likes to put himself in harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's fair.
However,
I feel like Charr
he does signal to one of his minions. Kevin, come here. And he's like, "Can you stand there for me?"
Yeah, of course. Everything for you, boss.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your service.
Everything for the Burger Empire.
All hail.
I'll help.
And I'm gonna assist with. Let's see.
We probably want one die.
I probably want one
maybe
die.
two.
How do I explain this with instinct?
I think.
What's the target value?
10.
Can we wait?
You could go.
It's already at 60. Do we?
Yeah, you can you can decrease it as well when you help out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How exactly am I gonna assisted lighting a fire using instinct?
Well, it's the actual boiling of the roots, so you might sort of smell that something's off.
I like that.
Something's more off than it already is.
I like that. So would that be what move is that?
Engineer is the role that we're currently doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Submit instinct. 3.
That gets us to 3, exactly 3 off.
3 off. Partial success. Still pretty good.
It's not a failure.
It's not, and that's what
That's
matters.
the important thing. Yeah.
So I'll ask Solomon or like Dave, since it's a partial success, either the disaster tracker goes up by 1 or the delicious tracker goes down by 1.
Let's play with fire and put another disaster.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't want to lose this delicious we got going on.
Yeah, I really don't know quite how this plays out in the end, so I'm gonna go with the extra.
I'm prepared
disaster.
for any disaster.
All right. So at the same time, Charr, what's the Mandragora plan looking like?
Well, I guess if I have a minion, I'm just gonna have the minion like stand where I want to lure the Mandragora out, and just have him like, I guess, like jump up and down, wave his arms. I guess, I don't know. Just like look appetizing.
Yeah, like the minion Kevin starts singing the Burger Empire anthem.
Yeah, I think Charr yells at him like that. She's like look tasty.
He strikes a very sexy pose.
That's not what I meant.
He's marinating.
Yeah, he starts cutting up carrots and onions and gets into a cooking pot.
So I guess the question is, do the Mandragoras come?
Oh yeah, they fall for the Kevin morsel bait.
Okay. I'm gonna baseball hit this shell with my big sword.
Hell yeah. I feel that's gonna be just to GM it a little bit. I feel like that's something of a precision move.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's an explosive shell. Let's
Fair.
be real.
Also,
Okay.
it's a big sword.
Big point taken. Never mind. Never said anything. I'm gonna say that the target value for this one is going to be 9.
So harvest?
Yeah. See harvest working.
Okay. And then I'm gonna go with sharp.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay. So the target value is 9.
Yeah.
You're rolling 40.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
I
you
love
know
it.
what? You know what? No, we're gonna do bombast because she's hitting a ball with a huge sword.
Absolutely.
Heads up, that kind of thing.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
What? Do you have a snappy one-liner?
God damn it.
No,
I should have done the 4.
That's
Oh wait,
still,
it's within 3.
yeah, it's a partial. That's good.
Ish.
So
I do it, but Kevin dies.
yeah. Okay. No. So here's your
Minions
moral.
can never die. Let's be real here.
Here's your moral BioWare decision. Either delicious track goes up by 1, goes down by 1. Disaster track goes up by 1, or Kevin dies.
Kevin dies.
Kevin dies. You see like a giant mandragora like swallow Kevin whole, like mid note while he's like singing the like listing the rest like the ingredients that goes into a delicious burger, and like he's just like swallowed up, and that's exactly when you just go, take me out to the ball game, swing your sword, and just like vaporize both Mandragora and Kevin who's inside. This is just like thank you for that music. This is just like Goku holding down Kravitz with when they're fighting with Piccolo. Rest in peace, Kevin. Hunter, you noticed this.
I solemnly nod in his direction.
All right, and with that clear, like as Ash of the Mandragora and Kevin feel the air, so does like the entire aroma of the steppe plains become subsumed by this scent of silver. You can't explain it in any other way. There's just only silver here, and as you look up, there's a giant shadow casting over the ritual arena. You look up, and from the moon's position, a giant 14-meter tall bowl adorned in crystals and reefs and flags and runic drawings on its fur touches down on the arena that you're standing in. It comes closer and closer, and then its feet hit the ground, and with a loud boom, like dust scatters everywhere. Almost a whirlwind appears with the pressure change. And I'd like to introduce to you all Ure Primigenius. Step 2 of the recipe. Devise a way so it doesn't have a direct line of sight or connection with the moon. Worshippers.
We came up with 2 plans that have both seemed to have failed already for this.
But we still got to try it.
We still got to try them.
Plan C is we kill the moon.
Well, technically, Plan A hasn't failed yet. It just will. Is the thing.
Yeah, you don't know
as far as both Hunter and Solomon are concerned, this is going great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think my pastry definitely has a hole in it, but it's okay. I have a backup plan.
Okay, good. All right. So first thing, without even thinking, you don't know how we got over there so fast, but as soon as the beast lands, like Hunter is already like he's got his arm on like the lever that's on the left side of the cannon. He's holding on to the underside, which just has like it has like a trigger on it that requires all 4 of his like front fingers to pull.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like he pulls the lever back, lets it go, and then pulls the trigger. And it's just like this huge cannon fire. It makes a gigantic sound. He shoots it directly into the sky above the arena, and then as soon as the flag part like breaks out from the cannon, that's when the flag itself is supposed to unfurl into like a parachute looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like I don't want to say a balloon as much as it is like what are those kind of like air balloons that's just like a big streamer at the top with like a carriage at the bottom, something like that. Sort of like the wind glider from Breath of the Wild, but like much bigger.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. Ooh, how to build on the previous phase? Like, how does this? What do you think? What do you think goes wrong?
I think there's a huge tear in it.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
It's like it starts off. It looks perfect, and then he sees like there's like a tear at one of the edges where it's like holding the bottom part. So it just like as soon as it goes up into the air, it starts like ripping into almost 2 pieces.
Oh god, yeah, and the tear forms an exact hole for moonlight to still shine through.
Yeah.
Even though it is secured in place, the moon still filters through. Your 4th minion, Jevin, whistles inconspicuously.
Jevin, you're making up names for the minions. There's Bob, Stuart, Kevin. I know there's more.
It was
Kevin's dad.
Kevin's ripped through a real one.
Pour one out for Kevin. Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm. Pouring out the kumis for Kevin.
I'm gonna look up at this huge flag with its gaping hole in the middle. Grab a large bowl of dough and start swirling it above my head, like someone making a pizza base.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna look to Charr. I'm going to need you to throw me.
How does Charr respond?
She just like looks at him for a minute, and then she's just like,
You think you can get me up there?
"Yeah, of course I can."
And I'm going to start running towards her, like to get the launch.
I feel like Charr just like bends down and like makes like the like a stir up with her hands so she can just like fucking launch him.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
And she just like bends down so she can like really get that squat power.
Hell yeah! You don't have to roll for this beautiful teamwork move, but actually no, I like this so much. Let's just say like two negatives cancel each other out. So fail roll of the dough, fail roll of the cannon, boom, come together, and please describe this human cannon act.
So yeah, there's a moment I think as Solomon gets launched into the air where he realizes quite how high he's going. As he whirls this pizza dough around over his head and hurls it into the circle in the middle of the parachute as he's at the height of his arc, and he comes flying down. At which point he realizes where he's going to land, and it's on the back of the bull.
Ooh, I like that.
So Solomon sort of twists in the air, like lands like pretty badly on the back of the bull, and like grabs onto one of the flags.
Mm-hmm.
Like the rolling pin is like hanging down.
Oh yeah. Ooh. How does Solomon like? So the dough is fixed in place, but now Solomon is like hanging from.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, this is like pretty high up. So, getting Solomon safely down is like going to be another part of the puzzle. But
Oh, sorry, I meant like I'm on the bull.
oh, you're on the okay, cool.
Grabbed onto one of those flags that was decorating it.
Yeah. Oh, on the bull itself. Yeah. No, I get you. And now we're Shadow of the Colossus. Excellent.
Yeah.
Love it. No, absolutely. I'd like to like free game from here on. Who has an idea? Actually, sorry, this is successfully completing step 2. So as you're on the bull, you notice that like you're suddenly getting closer to the ground, Solomon. It's a very strange feeling because you're not moving, but the bull that you're hanging on to, that you're standing on, is just like shrinking. And Charr and Hunter, you see this bull sort of like becoming more compact, and like very eloquently just like sizing down as it loses its connection with the moon. And as it does, its like golden glimmering horns seem to lose its luster, seem to lose their luster, and its eyes, like deep and like a deep green, fade into like a lost pyrite gray. You know, like pyrite fool's gold. Like it becomes sort of like that faded color. And there's almost a sadness in the bull's eyes.
Yeah.
As this happens. But you have successfully completed step 2. Hell yeah. Oh, that's from. Dude. Woo! little teaser song there.
Okay, so Solomon is still on the bull, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So while that's happening, Hunter pulls back the chamber that's at the very end of it, lets the end of the shell fall out, and tries to load in another one. There's like a ton of steam coming off of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nothing but steam. So much.
Oh my goodness.
It's like he's taken off his coat and rolled back his sleeves. He's still wearing completely white gloves though, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And he's loading another shell in. He gets it he gets it in, closes the locking mechanism. He's trying to recalibrate his aim, and he sees that he's aiming it at the bull, but he sees that Solomon is still on it, so he's like, shit. So he starts to aim at another spot. He's gonna aim directly at one of the pillars.
Ooh, good call, yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be a target value of 18.
Okay. I don't know if okay. I think I am gonna, let's see. That's rolling on, I guess, engineer.
Let's see.
Because he's operating such a large thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is definitely engineering.
I'm trying to decide whether this would be bombast or artisan, because it's like, because I think to me artisan is like how he operates this thing, because it's like it's slow and deliberate, and he's trying to get this thing into a spot where it's like there's no chance at all of this missing.
Yeah.
But also like him on the fly trying to like decide a new thing also makes sense for bombast. So,
right. So like the math here, I'll help you out, because the math here, like target value 18. If you want to hit 18, you're gonna have to roll 3 6s.
Right. Okay.
With 46, it is statistically more likely.
All right, let's go with that. I'm gonna roll.
All right.
Oh my god!
Oh
What is
my
up
God.
with my rolls?
Jesus.
First the other one, and now this one.
Goodness gracious. Solomon can help out from up there.
I can. So the flag that I'm on. The pillar. I'm assuming that the shot has hit the pillar, but it's not quite collapsed it onto the bowl.
No, it's not.
But if we cannot bring it is the wise man says, if you cannot bring the pillar to the bowl, bring the bowl to the pillar. And so I'm going to sort of the flag that I'm sort of going to kick off and rip the flag loose and sort of swing down on it. And I'm aiming for like a specific spot on its leg. So if I hit it with the giant rolling pin, it's going to sort of foul its footwork and send it tumbling into the pillar.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I'm using my knowledge of monster physiology for this. So that's going to be an artisan roll. So that's going to be 3d6.
3d6. That's
so
awesome.
It's swingy, but and that's probably going to be commune because I'm trying to pick my moment.
I'm gonna say yeah. Artisan and commune. There we go. I'm very invested in this now.
Cool. Wow, this is going to go so badly. Oh,
wait,
that's a partial.
That's a partial, yeah.
Unless Jandara wants to help out.
Just
Okay.
a little fine-tuning.
Okay, explain the plan one more time.
So the bull is the pillar has been rendered unstable by
You're going to
Hunter's
drive the bull
shot.
into it, right?
I'm sending the bull towards it, but I haven't quite got it. Its head's not. I'm guessing its head's not low enough, or something similar. It's not going to hit the pillar with the right amount of force.
I guess can I like run up behind it and just kind of like hit it with the sword enough to like hurt it and make it like move away from me, but not like to like I don't know, like completely fuck it up.
Go for a tender spot.
Yeah, absolutely. What attribute do you think you'll be using for this? Because the target value is 18, and you're currently at 21.
Yeah, I think.
You're blind for artisan.
I'm trying to think if I have a reason to say artisan, but I think I'm gonna go with bombast, just because like it is gonna be kind of an over the top like thing to do when
Sure.
Solomon is literally still up there.
Oh god.
For sure. Give me those. You have a 2 in bombas, right? Yeah, 2.
Mhm.
Give me
Oh god.
2d6, please.
Is
We want low. We want low.
what move is what move is this?
This, I think a scout roll, because you're like identifying weaknesses and helping out with that. Oh, Alright.
Oh god.
Rip.
Rip.
It's
So
still
that's
a lot worse.
That's down to 11 now, which is into the failure range of the roll. So that's a disaster increased by 1. But I'm gonna say because of the triple teamwork going on right here, like the top unstable tower with the crushed hind leg of the bull, and then Charr coming in and trying to careen it even further into the pillar. I think that happens, but what I also think what happens is that the pillar comes down on the bull, and Solomon, I think you get hit with a big piece of rubble as you dive away.
Yeah.
So in this game, there's no health. There's no way to check am I dead or anything. But
my fictional positioning is not exactly great right now.
No, exactly. And I'm trying to figure out what is an adequate like how to work this into the fiction. Like you get hit by a rock. How do we? I think. Ooh, I'm gonna throw this into the group. Like, what do you think happens to Solomon?
I think I'm gonna have to spend some time getting myself out.
Yeah, I like the idea of him being hit and then just like being incapacitated for a bit and not being able to help, or even like being so out of position that like there's only one person who's in the middle now who can at all like try and capture the heat.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, and I'm gonna say that like you are trapped under a piece of rubble, and someone else needs to spend like a move
I like
to
that.
help you out. Yeah,
That's cool.
So, yeah, to like narrate what happens next, like this giant pillar falls on top of the bowl. It like basically crumples, like it loses its footing and it falls down on its head, like forward. And then, like, the faded gray glint of its eyes make way for, like, a furious red. And, like, it starts breathing heavily, like steam created from the heat itself, just emanating from its nostrils. Like, I think, like, the ritual flag surrounding the ritual arena, they set on fire. So we have like this giant stone circle, and the edges of it are just like covered in flames and shadows dancing everywhere. And this bull is now berserk. On one side of the circle, there's Solomon trapped on the rubble. On the other side, there's Hunter, still manning the cannon. Right below the giant bull is Charr, and the bull like starts kicking up its hind legs because it knows where you are, Charr. What do you do?
Sword shield.
Sword shields. Here you go. Yeah, so you want to like block its incoming move?
I want to block its big foot. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So I think that's going to be a. Let me check real quick what kind of move that would be. Yeah, I think that might be an instinct, because instinct is like you detect an incoming attack and you prepare for it. What kind of move do you think it is?
Engineer, I guess?
That makes sense to me, absolutely. I'm gonna say that this is a... this is a target value 17. Ooh.
Oh, I get fucking kicked in the head.
That is an 11.
I can assist.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna like very quickly. So like while this is happening, he's already gotten like another shot loaded in. This one is not an explosive shot by any means. This is just like a like solid bullet, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not penetrative at all. It's just like a big old cannon, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he's just like, he sees like this bull meeting up like right with Charr's like shield sword, and is like, I'm not even thinking, not even like trying to calibrate correctly. Mm-hmm. He just immediately goes for it and goes for the shot. So I'm gonna roll on instinct.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, and that's let's see.
That's 1.
That's 1d6. A 4, which makes it 15. That's a success.
Nice.
Oh, that's extremely good. So yeah, I think like in the order of events, like what events happens, I think the shot hits the bull first, and then so what happens is you see Charr about to like get like kicked by this giant bull. You fire off the shot. it goes like into its side and is actually, with the momentum of it only standing on 3 legs instead of 4, starts like careening and spinning a little bit until like it's now face first towards Charr, and like the hoof of this 7-meter tall bull is more intimidating than like its horns can be. So Charr, you can like, you make contact with the bull horn. It's just like you take the impact. It is just like almost bone shattering how much pressure and force is produced by this one beast. But you manage to take it. You stand your ground, and there's like you like slide backwards with like mud, like sliding prints in the mud and the grass around you to show like how far, like how much you've moved by the impact of it. And what also happens is like the bull, being so caught off guard, like emanates, like breathes out very like just exhales through its nostrils. And you notice, Charr, that like your sword catches the steam from the bull, and you notice like, because like your connection to the sword is like magnifique, it's like peak connection. You feel like your sword has now like captured, has been almost blessed by the eternal steam of the bull. And I think
magic sword,
and like a fire effect starts like revolving around your sword as it becomes like, as it heats up with the fire hidden inside this bull's rage. So that is cool. That is step 4 done. Step 5 is show the moon that its guardian has done a good job and lay it to rest. Adorn its head with a crown made from moon tears, close its eyes, and send it back to the lunar fields. Now, I will say this does not have to mean. Sorry, lost my thought there. Train of thought. This does not mean that you have to kill it or like damage it. This just means you have to send it, like you have to calm it down. All right. Step 5. What do you do?
Worm under the rubble.
Yeah, that's true.
I think at this point, like, it probably like takes him a while to get there, but like while Charr is distracting the bull, like Hunter is like running down as fast as he can. You can see like a bunch of different kinds of cooking knives just like attached to his belt. It's like they're not suitable for fighting, but he's carrying them with him anyways. But he's heading all the way down into the arena. He's like trying to head over to Solomon, and he's just gonna like try and get the rubble off him as best as possible. He realizes that in this situation, using a gun is probably not the best solution. He probably should just pick it up with his hands.
Yeah, I mean that would have been tricky to gun.
I thought about it though. Don't worry.
Yeah. As you should.
All right. So roll to hunt. Do I have a target value for helping him out?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 15.
Okay. What would you consider that? Just like scout?
Yeah, I would say that's scouting.
Okay. I don't know.
But you can also argue that it is in scout, you know.
Right. No, scout's fine. I'm just trying to think of like what narrative justification I would have to use for like helping him up for being an artisan. I don't think there's an artisan way to move some rocks.
Well, you know, the artisanry is like an academic knowledge of the culinary arts and monster physiology. You could say that you can identify sort of like the keystone that holds this rubble up. So there's actually, so instead of you just powering through this rubble, you notice like this one piece of rubble that actually will clear the rest of it out.
Okay. All right, I like that idea. Let's roll on 4.
4d6.
11.
What was the difficulty?
15.
Okay, in that case, I'm just going to be pushing back. And I'm going to be like, pretending that, actually, no, I'm going to pick my moment. I'm sort of like, as this thing sort of starts to move, as Hunter's pushing it, I'm going to sort of brace myself and just push so it kind of tumbles off me. So I'm going to be using Bombast.
Yeah.
So that's going to be probably Engineer.
Yeah, something like that.
And I got a 3, which puts us on to 14.
Yeah, that is a good success. So the plan goes off without a hitch. You like
Nice.
Yeah, you like Hunter, you like managed to like get the sort of like the one keystone out, but it like gets stuck on the last little. It gets stuck on before you can really like wrench it free, and then Solomon, you just like kick it out with one, just like monk powered boot, like boom, it goes flying out, and like you're free. There's like a shred, like a stray beam of moonlight falling on you as you like stand up in this like and as you show your dominance to these bunch of stones.
And I turn and I'm going to give Hunter a sort of a bow of thanks.
And I hail back at him. also like doing a slight bow.
Nice. Awesome. So yeah.
I'm sort of like look to the bull. Shall we?
It would be my honor, or be my pleasure. Your honor.
Let's So, what's our plan? Does anyone have one?
Well, we still need to milk it.
We also need
we
the
need-
horns, don't we?
Those are side dishes. Those are optional objectives. You don't have to.
Mhm.
And I also think in the like just for time's sake, because we still have to do the cooking, I think we can comfortably skip those sections.
Okay.
I have an idea. We have not used most of the pastry. If we cover its eyes, we may make it calm down. Cover its head.
Yeah.
Think it's a fine idea.
Yeah.
Okay. I shall go prepare the pastry, and then I will need you to
Okay.
lower it towards me.
Okay.
Okay.
Drive it towards me, and I shall drape it over its head.
Cool. Yeah, let's actually cut to Solomon, just like getting the pastry ready.
Yeah. I've got this enormous rolling pin, and I've probably got it up like these extremely holy pillars. I've probably the flattest surface. So I'm like rolling this pastry up the side, and it's sort of pouring in like almost like a waterfall over his back as he just furiously rolls this pastry.
I love that. I love that image so much. Yeah. Now I'm gonna say that's easy enough to like that doesn't warrant a roll for me. What does warrant a roll is trying to like get it in position for like charge. Yeah.
So I'm going to be using my instincts to pick the correct moment to drape, and I'm just going to assume that people are helping. Do people want me to take the lead on this?
Yeah,
I'm down.
Take the lead, and we'll.
So
we'll
I'll roll
mess
first,
with
and then we can see what
Yeah.
goes after. And what's that going to be?
Harvest or commune, because you're kind of like challenging it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And that's going to be off instinct. It's going to be 4.
Okay.
And what's the difficulty on this?
Now, this is pretty risky, so I'm going to say this is going to be difficulty 22.
Okay. That's 13, so we need to make up. We need to make up 9.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's pretty reasonable. I think we can get there. I believe in the heart of the dice.
Yeah.
So what are people doing to drive this thing towards the pastry hood that we've made for it?
Yeah.
it.
I think I'm trying to figure out a thing that I could do without pissing it off more, and I feel like this is maybe not within my skill set.
Maybe you're still like the one drawing its attention because you're the one it's been focused on the most. So maybe
Yeah. I can just like go in front of it, I guess, and kind of like start leading it.
Yeah, you're like playing bullfighter with it.
Oh,
like
wow.
it's charging at you, and you're just like dodging, or just straight up blocking it, whichever you prefer. But
I
you
think
can,
probably like a combination of like booping it back with the sword and then like dodging.
Yeah, I like that.
Boop.
I like that. And then you're just like getting it into position. Like we're directing you, and you're like getting it into position for this big pastry drapestry.
I
Alright,
dig it.
sounds like a good plan. So what are you going to be rolling for this, Ty?
Hmm.
So you need to hit 22. You're 9 off.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna go with sharp in that like this is like it's still a combat situation and it's very much relying on like Charr knowing what she's doing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what move should this be? Maybe like engineer because it's a trap.
Yeah, you're working together like to get the trap to work. I can see this work. Yeah. That sounds good. Best. 13. Okay. That puts it at 26.
Overshot it a little.
4 over.
But
That means that you just have to roll 1d6, and that puts it in the success range.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say like we're almost on the right track, and like and Charr has gotten it like mostly into position in the right spot, and then I notice like in the heat of the moment, this bull is about to charge like way harder than we think it's going than it has before. So like in a last ditch effort to try and slow it down a little bit, I run up, pull out one of my knives, and just like try and cut one of the legs like, really quickly.
Ooh, get a little slash. Just enough to like distract its rage from the one target.
Yeah, but also to like slow it down a bit if it's about to charge.
Yeah.
Really, like it'll be in pain like if it tries to.
Mm-hmm.
So what would that be? Would that be like harvest or?
That would be. I like that being a harvest. Yeah. And
Okay.
what are you going to be using?
I'm going to be using instinct.
Instinct. Okay. So yeah, give me that roll.
5.
Oh, nice.
That is wow, 1 away from 22. So yeah, that is a full success. And I'd like just sequence like 3-part teamwork, beautiful like combination attack going on here. Like please describe please take over the description. How does it succeed?
I think like it tries to go for that big charge. But then, like, as soon as it gets cut, it's like its back leg like gives out a bit, and then like that's the perfect time for Solomon to like drape the pastry over it.
Like its head's low anyways. It was charging after Charr tried to like gore her with the horns.
Yeah.
And at which point I'm thinking, because of the size of this thing, Solomon actually just leaps off the rubble, and with the bowling pin like above his head, pastry trailing from it, and leaps through the gap between the horns.
Oh, that's fun.
That's a hell yeah. Yeah, what happens then?
Got its face completely covered in pastry.
Yes. It actually its vision goes blank. You just see I think a little 2 little red lights shining through the dough, but it actually cannot see anything. Like its vision goes completely black. It starts panicking. It hits another pillar, and it like falls over. And you notice that the red glow from underneath the dough mask you've made for it, like its eyes go back to like a faded gray. And Hunter, you actually feel like the sort of like the weight of the flower wreath that you made for it, like before you summoned it. It actually starts to like, feel heavier and more important, like now that like in your hands.
Oh, that's a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
What a strange thing to happen.
I'm going to look towards Hunter and gesture towards the leaf. You must do this. You are the one who made it. It is only proper.
Okay, I shall complete the ritual. So what would this be? This would be roll to hunt, commune. What am I rolling towards?
I think a 12.
12. Let's just do artisan. See what happens.
Let's fucking go for it. Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Whoa.
That wasn't correct. That wasn't correct. Hold
That's
on.
a bit out.
Hold on. That's a bit too many dice.
You.
I can't wait for these to like roll to 46.
There we go. Okay.
15. Okay, that's a partial.
What was it supposed to be?
12. So actually, yeah, that is a partial, right?
Yeah.
It is partial.
I'm going to be doing what I was doing before, and like when I sort of gave him some like pointers with like, being a bit officious and bombastic, and I am going to do that.
Okay. Yeah, give me a d6.
So the commune of bombast for 1 die. Because it's the same.
Well,
Nice.
just go in the other direction.
Yeah. The thing is, I couldn't mechanically make it worse. So that was the important thing.
So the choice is yours, Scott. Does the delicious go up by 1, or go down by 1, or the disaster up by 1?
What are both in the map?
5.
Yeah, you're both at 5.
Both disaster and delicious?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bump the disaster up 1 more.
Alright. Let's do that. But yeah, I like this idea of like in like how this is gonna play out. Like Hunter like tries to play like to place the moon wreath, the moon tear wreath, like on top of its head while it's like breathing heavily and it looks kind of sad. And
can I make a suggestion?
oh yeah, sure.
I think like he places it like normally as he should, but like there's clearly a lack of belief in the ceremony. So like the ritual of him placing the wreath doesn't actually like, there's a hollowness to it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's only a partial success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think this is very funny because it's like even though Solomon helps out, like no, you have to do it this way in like a very calm.
It makes it worse.
Yeah, it's like no, that's like you believe in it, but you're not like actually like you just want him to do it your way, not
Exactly.
actually before the ritual. And I like to think that like you kind of like do a little bit of pushing and like adjusting the wreath on top of the bull's crown, and then like I'm imagining Charr just going in and is like adjusting it, and then it works, then it slots in.
Yeah, because like I feel like the thing is like even though Charr doesn't really care about it, she still like believes in it. You know what I mean? Yeah, like she's not very like traditional or whatever, but she is like, oh yeah, like this is a magic god beast that we're gonna cut up and eat.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, like the moon reef, like in place, you actually see the moon sort of like the moonlight coming back. Like it becomes so strong, the moonlight, that it shines through the parachute that blocked it out before, and it hits the Ure Primigenius, like as it's drifting to sleep, and you see its soul sort of like form like steam mist from the carcass, and you see it galloping up towards, back up towards the moon, out of the ritual circle, through the parachute. It doesn't get stuck on it, thankfully. And you see this ghastly form of a giant bull becoming bigger and bigger, yet smaller and smaller as it runs back into its home inside of the moon. And I'd like to congratulate you all on a job well done. This was the cutting phase. This was awesome.
Solomon's going to be offering up prayers to this thing and to the moon, and doing the right ceremonies to honor the beast.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I think we are going to go into a break now anyway for 5 minutes, give everybody a chance to stretch, rehydrate, and so on and so forth. How are we all doing for time as players also? Because the cooking phase, I think, mechanically takes less time, but also, cool. Respectful of everybody's time and energy and so on and so forth.
Oh, I'm good to go.
Are we good to go for about another hour?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, fantastic. Right. In that case, we will see the rest of all of you on the other side. We'll be back in 5. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Hello, and welcome back once again to the latter part of our Iera Entera stream. It has been fantastic so far. I've had my input muted for the stream, but every so often the players have been hearing me kind of like laughing along with all the astounding shenanigans that everybody's doing. It is all very, very, very good. Because there was some light tech issues at the start of the stream. Hopefully all of that will still be stitched into this when it will be live both on the Twitch and on my YouTube account after the fact. But in case they don't, I'm going to do a very, very brief whistle-stop tour of our fantastic players. We have joining us Scott Blaha, available at Scott Blah on Twitter. You can find
That's right.
his podcast work at videogamechoochoo.com. We also have the absolutely fantastic Tiglis Row. You can find their games journalism work at uppercutcrit.com in the Twitch doobly-doo. We also have the fantastic Dave Winterbottom. You can listen to the podcast that they produced previously, Roll On the Adventure, on YouTube, which I did not previously queue up, so I will go pull that very quickly. I don't... there we go. Could be link address. Yes, you can find their fantastic podcast available here, to which I also feature on, making it doubly fantastic. Yes, indeed. We have our GM for our session today, Ruben. Which you can find, well, they have all sorts of stuff going on. Do we plug the Medium? Do we plug the Twitter? What do we plug?
Plug
everything.
Oh my goodness. So Medium, you can find me on Medium with my hot video game critique. On Medium at Urban Friend Den. You can find my fiction stories at thefriendden.net. And you can find me on Twitter at UrbanFrienden, and that's it.
Hell
I think.
Yeah.
What?
And you can find me here. I'm here kind of whenever the fuck I feel like, because I'm not, you know, beholden to much of a schedule. We stream whenever. But you can find this game that we are playing right now, and that you might have heard the first half of, on my itch.io, available for the low price of absolutely free, although we would like you to donate to the food charity of your choice if you do choose to download it, thematically tied to the nature of this game.
For free.
Yes. And with that, we'll get back to it, and I will shut up once again.
Thanks for
Oh, check. 1 2 1 2.
Check. Am I clear?
Good job.
Great.
Nathan out here just usurping everything. It's all good. First, okay. So as I narrate this for the first time, let's. So before the entropic team of worshippers ventures back to the village with the spoils of victory, with the heat-imbued sword in tow, with the meat collected from the Ur Primegenius, with what else is there? With the mandragora root and the kumis pod, which were on lease, and they have to return to the village chief. Before they do all that and track back, is there anything that is there any wrap up you'd like to do?
Yes. So Solomon's going to be taking some of the pastry that we didn't use. It's not really polite to use it twice. And I'm going to shape a small, almost like a floral sort of shape out of it. I'm going to bake it using the last vestiges of this thing's breath, and I'm going to hold a small funeral for Kevin.
Oh, that's beautiful. Does I want to see what Hunter does.
Would you like to say a few words, Hunter?
I believe Hunter at this point is just like he has been stripping the meat where he can. He's also got what's left of his minions there as well to help. We've been taking piece by piece and then just like keeping them in like little iced off like wooden crates, and he's just like, I believe this has been a very enlightening day, a job well done, and I'm prepared to see what we can create out of this. This has been a very efficient, productive day.
I was sort of. Could you say a few words about Kevin as well? It is his eulogy.
He served his empire respectably, and he nods, and he walks off.
I make like an almost apologetic bow towards the memorial, and then follow after to go help out with all the bits.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
I'm not going to shirk my actual worshipper duties.
Out of like dragging behind dragging behind everyone, you see one like little minion, Jevin, like walk up to the Jevin to the makeshift shrine and like just whisper, "Farewell, little brother." Before
God.
But yeah, are you all ready to make it back to the village?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Back at the village, there's actually a welcoming party organized by the village chief. He's on his he's on his like trademark what's the word I'm looking for? Raised pedestal. Like the rest of the village is there as well. Like you've got the artist from the beginning, a bunch of children who are like throwing like rice dough at you, like yay, welcome back. As you cart all the like the ingredients back into the village, the chief welcomes you with open arms and says, "Well done, everyone! Wow!"
Our job is not done yet.
Thank you. Thank you, and you're welcome.
Wow, with the hardest part done for today, we can now move on to preparing for the Charr, the lunar festival, using the sacred flesh of the Ure Primegenius. Is there any special ritual you need to partake, or can we just get started? Can we get this show on the road? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, we're kind of starving.
There is no time to like the present. The ingredients do not get fresher.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let me show you to the little cooking area that we've prepared for you, and he takes you to the like the cooking pit, the outdoor cooking pit. So this is actually in I think for Charr and Hunter as well. Like you're used to smoke style cooking, so outdoorsy stuff is definitely up your like in your forte. And it's like pretty well stocked. There's like various kitchen islands, like various like tables, I guess, to like prepare the various foods. There's some holy water to bless the ingredients with. We'll get into that later. There's various stations you can do, like you really focus on. So this really is like your station right now. This is your temple, your cooking temple.
I think the first thing that we need to do is, as we enter, do the proper rites of cleansing and bless ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's like a washing bowl with blessed water, like at the like in the middle. There we go. And as you see now, for the viewers at home on stream and for our players in the Roll20, the cooking instructions have appeared. Wow! Various pamphlets fall from the sky into your hands, and you can really read like what has to be done. So how the cooking phase of Iera Entera works is, instead of following everything like chronologically as the steps are written, you can actually maintain and sort of like spin several plates at the same time. This has to do with the mechanic called cooking time. If we look at the first phase, there's the first step, there's a little thing that says cooking time 2. Now, that means you can perform 2 actions in total, but like if you perform 2 actions in total on this step, it will be like that's all you get in there basically, and then you have to finish it. So you open up the ingredient step by using prep. This starts the timer, as it were, and you can see these little pie charts that show you like how far along each tracker you are, and each step instruction, each ingredient step also says that you have to finish with a certain thing. So to summarize, you start a certain step by using prep. You then fill up the cooking time, thereby increasing the delicious tracker by performing various actions as you see fit or as described in the recipe, and then you finish up with a certain action as described in the recipe. That explanation was a total mess. I'm sorry. If you have questions, please ask them.
So does the timer advance if we're doing other things?
I'm gonna look at Nathan real quick. It does, right?
Sorry about that. Was like also working some of the stream bits and pieces at once. Yes, indeed. Every time somebody makes a roll, all active cooking timers advance. So if, say, just hypothetically, a fire was to break out and you needed to spend time to put that fire out, anything that's already cooking continues to cook. So please manage your time carefully.
Thank you, Nathan. Oof.
So, personally, I think we could start with the dough lard and get that started, because I'm going to need some help.
Oh.
Well, so whoever does it's going to. I think the best way to get that failed bless action is by having 2 people roll. The first one rolls something good, and the second one subtracts something very. Sorry, first one rolls something bad. The second one subtracts something very good.
I'm actually gonna chime in here and explain something I forgot to mention. Each ingredient involved has to be blessed before before it is used. So basically, like we were a little vague on this, Nathan, but I'm gonna say like let's like leave these out, like leave the blessing out of the actual cooking time, and just say like put a bless action for the ingredients. Depending on how well the bless actions go, you get like a little bit of a head start.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, part of this is also discussing changes to the rules after the fact. Rules is written. Oh no, this is what playtesting is. It's perfectly fine. Rules is written. The idea is that the meal at some point needs to be blessed for it to be served at all. That doesn't necessarily need to be at every step. We can make that codified in the rules at every step. Although I think that kind of narrows the range of rolls that you would be making for each thing, and I'd like each roll to kind of feel a bit meaningful or interesting. So if you do it too often or every time, that might be a bit surplus to requirement, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I co-wrote this game, but no, that
we co-wrote this like almost 4-5 months ago.
14 years ago.
It was a long time ago, so I don't blame you for not necessarily remembering the kind of intent behind when we put it together in the before times.
But no, okay, so yeah, during the cooking time, one of the like you just have to get a bless action in there. That's what it boils down to.
Okay.
So yeah, the cooking instructions, I'll just go down the list. The first, like one of the steps is prepare the filling by mixing the divine beef with olive and garlic. Our tradition dictates the kneading must be done by 2 people, each one hand held behind their back, or simply holding the other's hand. Cooking time is 2, target value is 10. All rolls for this step must be done as 2 worship or teamwork rolls. Finish with prep. Number 2 is cover the pre-made dough in lard, or if you manage to get the milk, butter. These parts are attuned to the moon, so reverse bless them to the land. Cooking time is 3, target value is 6. One action must be a failed bless by rolling too low. Finish with bless 3. Give shape to the booze by filling up patches of dough with the meat filling. Dumplings must be accurate representations of the moon, including all of its impurities. Cooking time is 4, target value is 16. One action for the step must be a bless. Finish with bombast. And the last thing, steam the booze dumplings using the tempered breath you obtained, placed in a large communal basket. All the dumplings must be cooked to perfection at the same time. The feast begins for the whole village simultaneously. Cooking time is 6. Partial successes and failed actions add +2 to the disaster track. Finish with bombast as the dish is presented to the community. And Dave asked, how many successful actions do we need each step? Sorry. And basically, there's like no hard limit. You just have to make sure the disaster track doesn't go to like max.
And we've also got to make sure that we actually hit all the... So we need a bless, and there's got to be some bombast in there for one of them, that kind of thing.
Exactly. So you have to follow, like you have to finish, like to get all the rules as described in there, and you have to make sure you don't go to 15 disaster track.
Right. So I think we can probably get that. We're going to need teamwork for that lard bless thing. I think we should probably go for that. Mm-hmm. Get that done nice and early.
The best way to learn is indeed by doing. Let's get it started.
Let's get started. Cooking time, go!
Okay, so who wants to help me out with this blessing? Because ideally we want someone who's not very good at it to go first.
I see. So, okay, interesting. So I would come up and be like, I will assist you with blessing this. We're covering the pre-made dough and lard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll assist you with blessing such a with such an important step. So how would I start this off?
Well, first of all, somebody needs to make a prep roll to actually start that timer.
Yeah. So,
do you want to do that?
I think that's probably the best bet, right? I know, because we then got to do the bless afterwards. Ah.
Yeah.
So,
What it meant with target value 6 is that every roll, basically, unless specified otherwise, has to be 6.
okay. So someone's got to do the prep.
So
Would
since
you like-
yeah, sorry to jump in once more, and then I'll shut up for real. Since it feels like having our pastry chef start the prep for blessing the dough makes sense to me. So if you wouldn't mind using the roll to cook this time, that macro, instead of roll to hunt. It works exactly the same, except the moves that you're doing are now different. So you're gonna want to choose prep for that one, and then
And
as before,
target
choose one of
value
your
is-
skills.
Okay. This looks fit in. I mean, I'm not entirely certain of the difference between Sharp's. Actually, no. I'm going to sort of just like feel the pastry. You know how it feels in my hands, and kind of just do what the pastry wants. And I think that's probably Sharp, right?
Yeah. No, I can see.
In the same way that sort of carving a joint of meat along where it naturally flows would probably be Sharp as well, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I see the reasoning. Yeah, and like if your specialization is not meat, but it still applies. There's like the same motions, the same logic behind it. So yeah, I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna say Sharp is good.
Okay, come on, don't go too badly. Well,
Okay.
that's not good.
That's that's 11. So that is over it. Well, that advances. That starts the timer.
On it.
And let's see. So there are special rules for like how the delicious and the disaster tracker work during the cooking phase. If you mess up your prep roll, that is a disaster tracker to +1. If you get a success or critical a success is delicious tracker +1, and a critical success is delicious tracker +2.
Cool.
There's different rules for different stats as well. My next question is anyone going to help out with this? And remember, each roll advances the cooking timers for other things once they've started. So for now, does anyone want to help out?
Oh, so does teamwork count as multiple things?
Yes. Once the thing has started, like once you're managing several dishes, for instance, or several ingredients, teamwork advances the clock for the others.
But,
Okay.
sorry.
So I guess I would come in and try and bless it. Is that about right?
Are we taking the disaster point and just piling in with the blasts?
Oh, you want me to come in and help with the prep? Okay.
It's up to you.
Yeah. Let's try that out. Let's see. What can I do exactly?
Well,
I'm gonna say since Hunter's proficiency is not necessarily in dough, he doesn't quite know exactly what he's doing, so he's just sort of going with the flow in that. So I'm gonna try and roll on instinct to help with the prep.
I see it. That sounds good. Yeah, give me an instinct roll. 1d6, right?
3,
3.
bringing it down.
Yeah,
that's 2 out.
Yeah, that's 2 over, so that's actually really good. That makes it a full success, which means that, the delicious tracker goes up by 1. Oh my goodness!
This is gonna be really tasty.
Already 6 out of 10 delicious. But yeah, so Solomon and Hunter, the boys, are working on the lard and the dough. Charr, what's she gonna do in the kitchen?
I guess she's gonna cut up the meat with her big sword.
Hell yeah. Let's see. So would that be like step 1 or step 3? because I see various like applications here.
I don't think you can do step 3 without doing step 1 completed
I
first.
don't.
So
I don't.
Yeah,
I
I was gonna say, I think it's
True.
the first part of step 1 where it says prepare the filling by mincing the divine beef with the olive and garlic.
Yeah, absolutely. So the tradition does dictate the kneading must be done by 2 people. So you're gonna have to borrow one of the boys to help you out.
I'll come on back with that since this is more my forte.
Mhm. Yeah, I like to see like Charr just going over to like this immense slab of meat, right? And it has to look like just minced filling. So it has to go from giant slab of meat to just a little the mashed form. Like how is she gonna tackle that?
She has to do it with one hand behind her back, right? Because she's not gonna hold hands with Hunter, so...
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
Yeah, no, she doesn't... She's not gonna hold hands with some rando.
He reads the instructions and puts his hand out to like hold hands. And,
she just looks at his hand and then slowly puts her arm
then-
behind her back.
and he does the same.
Awesome.
And then I
Yeah.
guess I feel like she's gonna grab the sword probably higher up, on the actual blade, but not on the on the back where it's not sharp. That way she could just really cut the shit out of this meat with one hand.
Just wielding this giant sword with one hand. Extremely cool. So yeah, I guess that's the prep roll. So give me give me a prep roll for a target value of 10. And and Hunter has to do teamwork.
Mhm.
So if you hit 10, he has to do teamwork, which means it
Oh
Okay.
boy.
can't any longer.
Okay, I'm gonna roll with artisan for this because it's
Interesting.
You trying to go low to start.
yeah, and also I just feel like it's she's gotta try to be very good with this, make it pretty and solid because it's the ritual part of it now. It's a show.
I feel like it's almost boring to her, and that's why she's
Yeah.
well,
All right.
Okay, that's good.
that's good.
Alright.
Sick.
All right, I'm going to. Let's see, we're shooting for 10. What would be smarter, 2 or 3? Probably
Yeah,
2,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So a hunter is going to. He's never really done this with one hand before. Anytime he's chopping or mincing meat, he is very precisely trying to use one hand to separate and move things away. So him just eyeing it up. He's gonna try and do this a lot quicker than he usually does. So he's gonna try and bring his knife down and bring it back up and bring it down again as quick as he can, over and over again, to try and mince it in a bunch of different ways. So I'm gonna roll on sharp.
Okay, yeah.
And that would be prep.
Yeah.
That is a 6.
Nice.
Hey, nice. Oh yeah, that is a full success. So the delicious tracker goes up by 1.
Excellent.
7 out of 10. Really pretty good. It's a
Oh.
good.
Did that advance the dough tracker?
It does. Yes.
That's good.
So, this means that you're now starting to work, you're working together, mincing this meat. Obviously, I like to think that on Char's side, with her big sword, it's mashing and pureeing almost, and then juxtaposed like to the right is Hunter with like a little knife going. I guess
he's kind of just accidentally making New York strips. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
Right, folks. So the question is, do we want me to try? Yeah, because they're gonna have to do another roll to finish that off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, do you want me to try get this thing unblasted by myself? I'm happy to if you want to do that. I'm willing to risk it.
I mean, I can always move back over and try and like do. You're just like
if we
just kind of yell over and be like, "Hey, need a quick blessing over here." And I'm like,
the problem is if anyone leaves that one, we can't get it done in time.
Is that right? Is that right?
By the looks of it.
I thought just the rolls needed to be with two
yeah,
people.
well, once
all
rolls advance all ongoing timers. So
Yeah.
you've put yourself in an interesting puzzle situation by starting in
Right.
this order.
So I reckon I'm. Shall we believe in your ability to get that done in one roll, and I'll have a go?
I mean, we did succeed the first time, so
Exactly.
it's probably fine.
So I might need 2 attempts.
Yeah,
Fine.
go for it.
In that case, I am going to be doing a blessing with bombast as I sort of take on the role of like an overly like a bit of a moon priest who's not very good, to be completely honest. To do the reverse blessing.
Wait, what's your bombast? You're at 1.
1.
You should go higher.
Why? I can't. I need
You
to
need
fail
to
the bless
you need
by
to fail
rolling
it. Yeah.
I need to fail by
No,
rolling too low.
No, it says in the.
Oh, you're right. Rolling too low. Sorry.
So I need to roll my bombast of 1 and hope it comes up 1, 2, or
Okay.
3.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Otherwise, one of our things is going to drop.
Alright, give me that bombas roll.
Cool. So that's going to be a bless. Submit.
Love the idea of this.
Yes!
There you go.
Oh, ever has a low number been as good? Yeah, nice job.
Let's go.
Ooh, I love the idea.
So, yeah, like he's doing this blessing, and it's kind of muttered and not done right, and blurred a little bit.
You got the color wrong of the moon. It's like, no, there's like this beautiful golden hot thing. Right, that's the moon, right? No, okay. But yeah, no, that is
It shows up during the day.
So I reckon we can get these 2 ingredients. So I'm assuming I don't add to the disaster track for intentionally failing.
No, in case you don't. So yeah, so this is really good. You see the hue and the smell goes from like a silver to like a more golden brown. Like it's like lightly toasted now. I guess that's how it smells. Really, really going strong with the color scent. Like represent what was that condition called again? Like when you can smell colors. There's
Synesthesia.
Synesthesia, yeah, going hard with the synesthetic metaphors. But you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
So, going back to table number 1, how are our mincers doing?
You to finish it, right?
Yeah. Isn't the other one supposed to finish with a bless, or does that count?
I've finished.
Let's see. This one says finish with a prep.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's go for another prep.
Yeah, I
You want me
emerge
to go
from the
first?
ether once again to mention a thing. So once you've filled up the track, because you can overcook things by going away and doing other things, those finish actions essentially remove the clock from the table so you can't burn it anymore. So your goal is to fill up the clock, which is if one of you makes a successful roll, and then somebody else needs to then do the finish action to remove it from the tracker so it's not longer at risk of burning. So as long as both of you make your rolls and because it has to be to worship a teamwork, you can absolutely finish this. It's just that one of you needs to finish with prep.
Okay. I will go ahead and I'll go ahead and roll for prep, and I will roll on sharp.
Sorry, just hold up 1 second. Because the prep needs to be done, this is where the order of operations is important. If you're going to be prepping, you want to go after Charr. Charr, you have a couple of different options that you can do. You can also do some prep. You can finesse, and finessing is about increasing delicious and reducing disaster a little bit. And then there is also control, which is about reducing disaster a lot, but does not increase deliciousness. So, in the cooking phase of things, your choices of moves are mostly about trying to maintain the delicious and disaster tracks. So, even though your disaster is quite high, you can start using control to reduce some of that disaster.
Man, I forgot about those mechanics.
It's all good. Sorry for interrupting.
No, thank you for picking it back up. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and do finesse.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
Wait, but would that be separate actions, not the teamwork action?
Our roll still needs to be a teamwork roll.
Basically, it means that both of you are going to be rolling as a teamwork, trying to collectively beat TV10. But because of the order that you're doing them in, you can be really clever and make sure that the second roll in that teamwork will also finish the clock off for good.
So your teamwork is effectively like you're combining two different actions in your teamwork.
You can get mad crafty with it if you want to.
That's the bit I missed.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, so I guess what is the what is the narrative connection of the what you do to finesse? Because I don't know what I'm doing, because I don't know which stat I should use.
Well,
make it taste real good.
Yeah, finessing is like you can see it as like tending to the quality of the dish. Like you notice like, oh man, I need to add these kind of spices, and like, oh, this chunk of meat like has to be like minced a little more. Like it really is trying to like focusing on how good it's gonna be, as opposed to mitigating like how bad it's gonna be, if that makes sense. You're like on what's a good comparison? You're on MasterChef, right? You're going to impress. You're like rolling people. And then control would be when like you're on MasterChef, but your oven explodes, and you have to then remake your.
Okay. I will go ahead and do finesse with bombast, because I feel like she's like making sure that the meat and like the olive and stuff is all really thoroughly mixed together, but she's doing it like hibachi style with her huge sword.
Totally, yeah. So that's a 2d6 for the finesse. Target value of 10. Whoa!
Oh, no!
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Well.
Oh, good. Well, so I am going to. I see.
We succeeded.
Well,
Oh,
not quite, because it's still a teamwork.
It's fine.
I see that that not only has Charr finessed, she has finessed so good that I have nothing to do. And I'm like, oh no, this isn't part of the instructions. I need something to do right this second. So I just instinctually like try and chop something right now.
I love that. Like you're working the line.
God damn it!
Oh shit!
Oh no!
Oh, that's the 4. Oh, that is outside of the success range. Yeah, this is like the sous chef. Like all you have to do is put the little parsley on top of the burger. You're going to sous chef with like, oh, but what if I add lemon zest? What if I like orange on top of it? Yeah. And then the customer goes like, can I talk? Can I leave? Can I just go? But no, that is beautiful. Please like how does Hunter do this? Like what happens?
I think like, oh boy, so like I see that not only I see such a great finessing job being done, and it looks like the pettiest thing when Hunter just like completely just full on throws his knife into Char's side of the meat and just starts cutting like wildly. And he's just like, I have to help. It's part of the instructions. The instructions need to go perfectly. I need to help. You did too well. Why'd you do such a good job?
What are you talking about?
We need to do this together. This is how it works. We need to follow these instructions by the letter.
You're messing up the meat.
Like, you should have given me something to do.
A quick interjection about some mechanics that have occurred. So that end result was a failure, so disaster has increased by 1. However, that prep has finished off that option, so I've now turned that clock green to indicate that further actions will no longer affect that clock and do bad things to it.
It's not getting any worse.
However,
We did it!
an action occurred with the Bless the Dough clock already full, and that now starts to go into overtime, which increases the disaster track by 1.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to go and finish that step real quick before things get worse.
I'm just debating whether I do the same thing as I did last time, and if someone wants to help. Actually, I'm going to go too high. How do I go for this?
Hunter and Charr are both done with their part of the meal, so they can help if need be.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of them, and I think the thing that is that I've prepped a lot of them because the blessing needed to be done in like big batches, and I got maybe a little bit carried away. And so, to do this big blessing, I might need some help. But I do happen to know, or like with my some academic knowledge, or all the proper rights to do the proper bless to finish this off. So I'm going to be trying to roll very high and hope people help me out and bring the total down.
I love that your monasticism, like your monastic sense, is like, no, I have to make up for the fact that I did a really bad job there.
Yeah. So I've got a 10, which means if someone rolls a d6, we probably got this.
Yeah, because you can like it's always going to be if it's over the target value, you can just subtract from it. So
exactly. So we, that's why I decided to go for the 3. I think it was the right call.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
I can probably roll. I can have Charr roll with artisan.
Oh, you're kind of doing the rights along with me.
Yeah, but just like badly.
Oh, brilliant.
Is it like intentionally badly, or Charr tries to do a good job?
Charr tries to do a good job. She just doesn't like practice or like know it well. This is like not her strong suit.
Fair.
All right, give me a d6.
Cool. So it's a normal success.
Yes, yeah. Excellent. That means that because this is a bless action, nothing really occurs, but I think the delicious tracker goes up by 1, right, Nathan? Yeah, there you go.
And we have finished. That's the important thing.
Yeah, 8 out of 10.
Okay, so what do you lot think? Do we start do we get the cooking on for the get the steam bath ready before we start the other? What do you think?
Does that count towards? Would that actually count towards cooking time? Because we have to. I think we have to finish 3 before we can start 4, right?
We don't have to. We could. I think because it's cooking time 4, we get the water and everything ready.
That is possible.
That's, all right. I like that interpretation. Let's start the steaming.
Okay, so if you start that, and I'll start the other, and then that gives you 3 actions to. Actually, yeah.
So it's Charr's sword that is the fire sword. So I believe Charr needs to start the steaming.
There's no target value listed on the dumplings.
Oh yeah, that's because during the target value changes per roll.
Okay.
Wait, so is there anything to prep? Because if it's my sword and we just have to put the dumplings in a basket over to that, don't we just need the dumplings?
Yeah, which is why we were gonna start the steaming to get the water going, and then we were gonna
exactly
make
the
the
right
dumplings.
temperature
Yeah.
before we fill the dumplings.
Okay, I guess I didn't realize there was like water also involved.
So I think the plan right now is to have Charr heat up the water with her heat imbued.
Yes, I can do that.
But please be aware that this may backfire, but I'm wanting to try and see how this works.
Yeah, I can do that for sure. Let's see. So I guess roll to cook, and I assume this is a prep move.
Yep, it's a prep roll. I'm gonna say that the target value is 20.
Okay, I'm gonna use sharp because I'm literally using my sword to do this.
Oh, absolutely.
That's good.
I think you can slice through the water. Ooh, it's a little. That is
Little low.
little low out of the success range.
Does anyone want to help out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come up and be like, it's just needs to get a little bit hotter, and like I'll pull out some like flint and start lighting. Like it is just like a big old pot, right? Or what's our steaming situation look like?
Yeah, it's like a big pot, and like you know those steaming baskets that they use.
Yes, yes, I do.
So basically, you've got a big pot, and above it is like on a plank. There's a huge steaming basket, and we're talking like giant, like enough basket to fit enough dumplings to feed an entire village. That kind of thing. So the basket is currently open, but the water is on the boil.
Gotcha. Okay. Since he's never made anything like this before, and he's just kind of going off instinct, I'm gonna try and roll on instinct to. This is still prep, right? I can't roll any of the other moves.
It is prep, yeah.
Okay.
What was the target number for this?
20.
Ooh, you can do this.
Yes. Just needs a quick bump up. No matter what, it'll be positive, I bet.
Bump up the jam.
Yeah, bump up the jam. It'll be easy. 3. I think that's like not enough.
That's also
That is not enough.
okay. So that's +1 to disaster tracker.
I haven't started doing anything else yet.
Uh-oh.
So I'm gonna wander over, and I'm gonna, as this thing isn't quite heating up as expected, and I'm gonna start imploring the spirit of the breath within the weapon to heat up. So that's gonna be a prep with bombast,
Okay. Ooh, I like that. Give me a bonus roll.
and that gets us into the success rate.
Yeah.
That's a perfect. Okay, I love that. you just go up to and like I think like the spirit resonates because it knows that you created the funeral sort of like the memento for Kevin, and it respects that. It acknowledges your monasticism, your spiritual connection, and with a huff, it goes like, "Fine," and like up the water a little more. And yeah, that is a +1 to the delicious tracker. Heck yeah. Very good job, and that starts the timer for the booze steaming.
This may have been a bad idea, but I thought it'd be fun to try. So, are people happy for me to start dividing up the patches of dough ready for the meat? Should be the action for that.
I would.
Yeah,
love
I'm
to
good
do
with
this.
that.
Cool. So, I've got a good feel for how the dough works after the blessing and everything, and I've got I'm sort of like taking in the sort of the shape and the size of the meat and how it's been how it's been broken down, and to get a feel for exactly quite how large we need the patches of dough to be. Yeah, and how thin we need them. So I'm getting everything ready to start stuffing them, and I'm going to be using my instinct for my connect, like being able to feel the idea of the dough.
Absolutely. You have to.
Gonna do a prep action.
In every cooking show where they go like, you really have to like have a connection with a store dough.
Yeah, I know the story of the dough as I've just been doing the blessings. So that is about as bad as that could have gone.
Oh, no. Yeah, that is unfortunately that is too low.
So it's a 15, right?
It's a 16 even.
16.
Someone jumping in.
It looks like a 5 from here, just from this distance. It's like there's just a little. It's like you if you're too far away, you can't see that little line under there. Okay.
Sorry for my font choice. God. I'm teasing.
It's okay. I respect this very deeply. I'm going to. One sec. Sorry about that. Just had a little cough. Okay. I see him like trying to get it in the right shape, and I'm just like, I have like one of those smiles on that's like the smile of someone clearly condescending you. Like, let me have a try. And he and Hunter, this like feels a little bit more like in Hunter's like forte.
Yeah.
And he's just like taking the meats. He's just like trying to trying to get them in the right shape. I'm gonna roll on sharp, which this is still prep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Give me those 2d6. That's an 8.
Nice.
That is very good. Yeah, that puts it exactly in the success range.
Yep. One over.
Hey, by the way he shaped them was, of course, like burger patties.
Like burger. Oh my fucking god.
So that palm sort of motion.
It's the perfect like size and shape for how you want this meat. Trust me.
We have hit perfect delicious. I think it's time for a music change.
Yeah.
We've just now got to not cock it up. Right, so that should have advanced the Steam the Buzz timer.
Yeah, by 1.
Okay. I think we've got to shape this buzz as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Before we steam this buzz. So I'm gonna try and roll on control. And I would like to roll artisan because this is him in his craft, just like genuinely trying to like get this as good as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's back in like the burger kitchen. Working patties. He's back.
All right, here we go.
Here we
Let's
go.
go. Oh wait, I forgot to put a dice number. Let's go. Submit. 19.
That's
Partial.
partial success. Yeah.
You did an okay job.
Yeah, a partial success for control is a -1 to the disaster track. So
Yeah.
that's pretty good still.
Yeah.
I like that.
Give me like it's not your best work, even though you're like in your forte. It still feels a little like off.
He's just a little out of his element, but he's getting in his groove.
Yeah, he needs to really acclimatize to the instruments here. He's not used to cooking. Cool. So who wants to do? I feel like Charr hasn't done anything in a little bit. Do you want to do anything?
I feel like she's just like watching the sword and like kind of being pissed that it like responded better to Solomon than to her. I feel like she's just like very quietly like yelling at it like, "You're my sword."
What if some of the booze is already ready to go and like is ready to be steamed?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I can pop them in there.
Yeah.
Oh no, they must all be cooked at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Well then never mind.
Ah.
All right. Well, as you're like going about giving shape to the booze filling and watching the steam, you swear that you can like in the distance you hear like above like the sounds of like children gathering and playing and like celebrating and cheering you on in preparation for like preparing for the Orotsal Tsar. You swear like you could have fooled me, but you swear that you can hear someone screaming, "There's a cow on the loose! There's a cow on the loose!" And all three of you turn to see where this is coming from, and you actually see that there's a cow, the ceremonial cow that they prepared for the Orotsal Tsar, kind of like storming at you.
Oh,
at
good.
The kitchen area, and it is not stopping.
Well, shit. Well, I would say I would use my shield sword, but it is being used to warm the water. So
Here's the thing: is you don't need to use your sword. You have bare hands.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna leave the sword and I'm gonna go run and I'm gonna try to grab the cow and like steer it away.
Cow wrestling, wrangle it.
Get on
Give it
it.
a suplex.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna say this is gonna be a target value of 14.
Okay. Is this a cooking roll?
No, you could use your sharp for this. I feel that's more appropriate.
Okay, what move are we gonna say this is?
Control?
It kind of seems like control.
That sounds, yeah.
Yeah, like fix something going wrong. Like, a cow in the kitchen would be like that. That is something going wrong.
Okay. 4 dice. I did it!
Wow.
I found the cow!
Got it in one. Okay, like describe how you're stopping this cow. Absolutely.
I guess I'm just gonna like run at it and like literally like as it's coming just like grab its horns and like try to like divert the force like kind of like fucking like judo flip style. I'm gonna flip the cow. It's ultimate cow tipping.
Flip the cow.
Cow flipped. It goes just like you grab it, it just flips over like on its back. Poof! Dusts are like scattering everywhere, and this cow just has like spirals for eyes as it has been like decommissioned. Congratulations, you've defeated my cow puzzle.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Does Charr have like a one-liner, or does she gloat about it?
I feel like Char's just like, somebody come get this cow. Like, whose cow is this?
I feel like the minions like all come into play and just like try to get this cow out of
She's like, get this cow out of here.
We're sorry.
Right. So we need to do this action and finish with bombast.
Yes, so we need to bless this.
So
I
do you want to
believe
get
in you to bless.
right? Do you want to start getting everything into place? Like arranging everything, making sure the dumplings look right, while I go around doing the words bit.
Do you mean you want to do this as teamwork?
I think we should. And if
It's-
it's like if you go first with artisan and I follow up with bombast, we can finish on bombast, and it's probably be right.
So you want me to bless this?
I think you should start the blessing.
I
Because you're the one making them into like faithful representations of the moon.
I wouldn't trust me to bless anything, but if you believe
It
that,
doesn't say it has to be a good bless.
I believe
Nowhere in
that
there does it say it has to be a quality blessing.
I believe that your artisanal ability will make these into
Okay.
the right shape. I believe in you.
I have researched how to bless these things as thoroughly as possible. So I'm gonna do the best bless that I could possibly muster.
Listen, if a white man at Marvel can do it,
Oh my god!
Oh, that is perfect.
We got our first successful crit, everybody.
Yeah.
But the problem is we need to finish with bombast, so I still need to roll.
There's still an action to do, so even if you, so you need to. This feels well. We'll go one step at a time because there's a handful of things to do. This increases by 1, so there still needs to be an action done before the finishing bombast. That was a bless. That was a crit. So for that. You describe how it goes off spectacularly for 1. 1 is added to the delicious scale, but delicious is maxed out, and you remove 1 from the disaster scale.
Whoop whoop.
Get that disaster out of here. Hunter has like step for as long as he possibly can, and he's been thoroughly researching like every single religious text that he can, because he knows at some point, like, if we're going to replicate this recipe, we are gonna have to bless. So he just says the nicest, most sincere sounding like blessing that he could possibly muster. And that like somehow convinces the gods that he really means it.
God. It's like you get like a flashback, like a sepia tone flashback to the moment when Solomon helped you out with the lunar tier wreath, and you're like, oh my god, yes, I feel the cosmos.
I understand this recipe.
Yeah, I've come up with a new recipe. So yeah, you just nail it. It just like couldn't be holier right now.
Nice. I'm just gonna look at him and like, he has learned well.
He hasn't learned anything.
Awesome.
If anything, he's learned how to use this for evil. That's it.
He can be changed. You can save him.
I mean, I'm not going to be good at this finishing with bombast business. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, you can do some controlling or finessing on steaming the booze. Right now, like, you're in a pretty good spot, I'm gonna say. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, I don't think. Well, I hope so. Like, I'm on your side, but
This could not have gone more positive.
yeah.
Okay, so for steaming the buzz, what's the difficulty going to be on a finesse roll?
So since it's changing, the next one's going to be a 19.
Oof. Yeah, I'm not likely to make that without help.
You could make it a control roll, and like potentially cancel out the +2 disaster.
Cancel it out, as in, yeah, I see.
Yeah, if you like in the event that you roll a partial or failure, you know.
I don't think I'm going to be able to. That's a lot of dice. I don't think I'm going to manage it. So let's leave it. I think we'll be all right. can we just skip a thing?
We're just like, hey, village chief, hey Jeff.
Everything's going great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at Nathan, like rule writing in the making. Like, is there just a skip phase option? Do we want that?
It's like tactically more sensible to do stuff like that's what control and finesse are for. In specifically doing actions that kind of affect the delicious disaster scale while trying to make time tick on. So it's in your best interest to try a control, for example, to remove disaster from the track.
However, it's difficulty 19. And
you could just do it on shaping.
Absolutely.
But that's still 16, which is unlikely to succeed.
Yeah, but then someone just needs to follow up with a bombast. And then we're done. With that, at least.
Reasonable. In that case, I am going to be... so that we've got all these things out there. Is someone willing to follow up on this? Ideally with someone with, like, 2 bombs. I don't know. Everyone's got high bombast.
I have 3 bombasts. I think I have the highest bombast out of anyone here.
Right. In that case, I am going to let's just try. I'm going to be using like my accumulated knowledge of pastry to add the finishing touches to the sort of lunar faces. That's going to be a finesse.
Yeah.
And then we'll be going on to teamwork. Hopefully, and that's a 3, so 11.
That's 11. Okay, so
pretty good.
Yeah.
So who wants to finish it with bombast?
Or 16. Sorry, my bad.
It's probably better if Charr does it, because I would probably roll over.
Oh, you're muted. Oh. Uh-oh. Did we lose Ty? Let's get a quick... Yeah.
We're just having some light technical difficulties, folks. We'll be back with you shortly.
Live shows.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's how it be.
Well, I mean, Scott, you can just like go like, yeah, fuck it, 3 bombast, let's go.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, you can just act again. You can just let this one go through, which would be a fail, but it does mean that you have the opportunity to go and finish it up.
We would end on bombast, and then the problem would just be we would gain some disaster, which I'm not extremely partial on, but. If Charr, let's say Charr is still busy wrangling that cow, we don't necessarily have the we don't necessarily have anyone else but me to do it. Okay. So if it's teamwork is prep, right?
No, it doesn't have to be. It's just a teamwork roll, and you have to like right now you're just gonna use your bombast to do like a control or finesse or finish. Basically, like anything goes.
Okay, I am going to try and control this situation. Bombast. Oh god, here we go. Let's go. Oh wow.
Oh my god.
What's on?
What the hell?
Perfect successes.
Damn, do we have like a crit theme? Because that's
I mean, you know, I can start pulling music from Arcana Core and see what we can do here. But let's resolve mechanics first. So this is technically, and this is an interesting interaction that we'll discuss after we're done. This is still technically affecting the finesse roll, so this pushes the finesse to a crit. So that is delicious +2, disaster -1. So we lose 1 on the disaster track. This is a bombast roll made on this particular item, so it is finished.
Yeah.
So we can now tint that to green. Steaming the booze time has ticked, so it needs to be finished now.
Yeah. Spot on time.
I see.
What's how much is it gonna be? How much is this roll?
How much is this roll? This roll's gonna be 22.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm going in.
It's
Okay,
steaming a lot of booze at once.
We need to finish with bombast, so do you want me to start with something else?
You have lower bombast than me, right? You have
Yeah.
1.
But
Okay.
22 is going to be hard to hit even on 4 dice.
Yeah, I can't. It's impossible on 3. So, what if I? Okay, I'm gonna go in with artisan, and then you follow up with bombast.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, let's go for it.
And then worst case,
It
Ty
fails
comes
for like
back.
3
Ty comes
disaster.
back from hell, and then
I think Ty is
Yes.
finish that up.
I'm
Hello.
here. Sorry.
Hi.
Sorry, my dogs were like screaming, so I was just like,
Oh,
we're
no.
just gonna go outside real quick.
Marshmallow. No.
Would you like to come in and help out with this?
Yeah, whatever y'all need me to do, I can
Like,
do
right now
the
we're-
assist.
So how about you do your one, then we'll see who we think's best to try finish it with bombast.
Gotcha. Sounds good. I'm gonna
Nice.
get in there. I'm gonna control this, and I'm gonna do it as artistically as I possibly can. Let's go.
So
15.
15. Nice. So this is
Okay.
guys. This role like narratively is going to be like you're done with the cooking. You're gonna present everything to the community, and then the party starts.
So we
So-
need 7.
All right. Who's gonna bombastically bring this to a 22?
We need 7, so my D6 is probably not the right thing.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
all on you.
Yeah, I have my bombast is 2, so I guess it's me.
Here we go.
Believe in you.
Can you know? You got 2d6. I'm so excited.
What is the move that this is?
Any.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna do control. And I'm gonna use bombast. So I'm thinking that she just wants to like, yeah, now that everything's done, just grab it, make sure it can't like overcook or anything, and then just like start handing out plates like on her sword because it looks fucking cool.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's go.
Let's go. Yo!
Boom!
Oh my god.
On the spot. Effortless.
Perfect. Unbelievable.
Boom. We just get just like you like if I may, Ty, like the way I'm seeing this full crit success. Like screw the mechanics, you've won. Congratulations. But I think like, are just like slash like with her big sword like through the steaming basket, like all the dumplings like perfectly scooped onto the blade of the sword. She just like goes in horizontal swipe and then presents it to every single one in the village already standing neatly in a row.
To note, we have made the final roll of the game with maximum delicious and 0 disaster.
Yeah.
Started out as like what started out as a worrying little thing. You have done a perfect job.
I think this is working as intended mechanically, actually.
Yeah, it's really fun. This has been so good. So yeah, what I'd like to know from all three of you is like, how y'all partying?
I think
No, not
I
this.
think every single like dumpling that Hunter has in front of him, he's kind of like cutting the like sides of off to like make them look like burgers.
Devious.
Beautiful.
Let's go back to this. This works.
Yeah, Solomon is, looking down his dump, kind of, sort of thinks back to that moon shining down into that arena, and gives thanks to the moon and our quarry.
Oh, is this more melancholy than that? There we go. There's like a proper emotional finality to this. Okay, yeah.
And like as he remembers these things and gives thanks, he brings the dumpling up to his mouth and takes a bite and savors it.
Oh, it's good. What does Charr do?
Charr is like eating and drinking and then like taking on challengers for arm wrestling.
Hell yeah! There's like a million people like just on like on the ground, just like holding their bicep, like ah. Yeah, and at the end, here comes the village chief. This tiny man, like with 3 carts in tow, and he goes, "Worshippers, I'd like to thank you all for the best lunar festival we've ever had. What started out as a fiasco in the village ended up being the best one we've had so far. And to thank you all, to show our gratitude, and to honor your sacrifices and your efforts throughout this time of crisis, I would like to present to you your likenesses as eternalized in stone." And like he like gestures to the carts that he like has behind him, and like 3 curtains, like curtained objects are there, and at the same time they're all pulled away. On the left there is a statue of Charr with a giant fire sword. In the middle there is against his wishes, but like a face like hooded over, there's Solomon looking very pious, and on the right, on the third statue is what supposed to be is the Burger Emperor, but no one actually knows no one here knows what he looks like, so it's just like a guy.
No one at all knows what he looks like.
No one at all. So it's
It's just a
So
man.
not a mystery.
yeah. So right now it's like a guy in a like a person in a suit, but with like a burger instead of a head.
Yes.
And those are the statues that are displayed in full glory to the 3 of you as you continue feasting deep into the night. This has been Iera Entera.
Hey! Snaps!
Oh!
Snaps! Nice. Good job, everybody.
This was so fucking fun.
Right, let's put on some chill vibes, and then let's talk about our experiences a little bit. Do you mind if I take it from here, Ruben?
Not at all. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So, what we like to do on the Neoncaster Twitch channel whenever we finish a tabletop RPG is to do comments and kudos, where we go around the table and talk about one really cool thing another player did. And I think instead of for the comments part, it's usually about what we're excited to play next time. But because this is a one-shot, let's have after we do kudos, let's have a little bit of a chat about how we feel about mechanics and tweaks that can be made. Because even though this game is currently available, it is in version 1.0, and I'm looking to make some changes to the rulebook, having some ink illustrations of some of the divine beasts, but also rules tweaks. So let's go with kudos first. Who would like to start off with kudos?
The cow slap. Also, I did really enjoy Hunter's world building as well. With the sort of minions and the great big flag thing. That was quite nice.
I had a bunch of notes written down, and one of them that I just forgot to say was that the name of the gun was the Quarter Royale.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Fantastic.
I really liked I really like how Ty played her character. Like it was just like extremely fun to see, like just like big buff lady like swinging sword. The stuff with the cow like at the end was really good. I loved it.
It just topped off the whole like no nonsenseness of the character.
I really liked the Solomon doing the dough on the bull and ending up on top of him, because it was like a very slapstick funny thing for such a serious man to end up doing.
Yes.
And then I also just like enjoyed Hunter as a character. Like, what a little shithead. Love him.
Yeah, and I'd like to give a big kudos to Nathan for just like being there to catch me when I fall, because even though we wrote this together, it was months ago, did not understand. Like, we were playtesting, we're doing this on the fly, so thank you, Nathan, for just having, like, being the stagehand and also like chiming in with
oh no, it's all good. It's all good. I am glad that mostly, aside from tech issues, some of which under my own hand of muting the wrong audio stream for a couple seconds. This all went really well, and I'm glad that co-GMing as an idea is a thing that is working and fun. So yeah. This bodes super well. I'm genuinely really happy that y'all when we did kind of open casting on the internet, being like, oh, who'd be into trying a weird indie RPG made by a couple of like queer cool people, who's up for this? And y'all were, and that genuinely makes me so happy. Thanks all of you so much for joining us on this ride and doing a playtesting of something weird.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It was really fun.
It was good.
I think the real big question on my mind is what's next?
Yeah, I mean, for this game, there's gonna be a revision phase for this, which we can have a little chat about this now in terms of like thoughts. I have some thoughts I'm sitting in the background, but I kind of want to hear everybody else's thoughts and play first, and then I can get into some mechanics chat. But what's next in terms of all of y'all here? Well, you're all now honorary members of Phantom Arts Entertainment, the production company that produces this, production company with as many scare quotes around it as you want to put. It is, in fact, the name for the Shadowrun crew of the opening actual play podcast that I started a couple of years ago. But I like it as a faux company name, so you're all honorary members of the company. So yes, feel free to join us anytime you would like in the future. There will definitely be more instances where we'll be doing open calls for players. So if y'all want to hang, y'all absolutely can. It's all good. That's kind of what's next. But yeah, what's your mechanics thoughts? How was this to play?
I feel like it was a little too easy. Everything kind of fell into place in a way that's like, to me, a lot of like really interesting tabletop stuff like goes bad in a lot of cool ways. Like if the mechanics influenced like or if the mechanics interpreted like things falling apart in like really cool and interesting ways, like that would be really cool to me.
I think it's like maybe like on the disaster scale, if there was like, oh, you hit like 3, something happens. Like like in increments.
There weren't a lot of like hard moves from GMs, which there doesn't always have to be. Like sometimes you just want to play a fun tabletop game.
So the disaster tracker, like that, like every 5, we like a bad thing happens. I actually have in the GM notes and also in the Iera Entera core book. Like for this campaign, like the cow shows up at like disaster tracker 5. I was just like waiting for the right time to
Cow on the loose.
But yeah, no, that's a really interesting thing, because I was thinking that like the shuffling and doing maths to match their target value would be like too complicated and made it like not enjoyable. But from the way you picked it all up and the way you started engaging with teamwork and actually planning out like, if I do this, then you can do and back me up with this. I agree with the sentiment, Scott. Like, we need to make this shit harder.
Or at least, if not harder, like there just needs to be like more ways to like maybe incentivize failure.
Right.
Because now it's like right, like especially with the teamwork stuff, it's like you like
really want to succeed, and we're kind of given like an infinite number of tries to succeed a little bit.
Right. I get it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think some of it, the framing of stats is interesting. Because, when we were doing character creation,
Yeah.
the idea was that the high stats are good and the other stats are less good. Where actually the strongest two stats were 1 and 4
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
by a long stretch. Yeah.
I think what would be interesting in the recipes is if they were a little bit more abstract, because instead of being like a list of things to interpret, it becomes just like a checklist of objectives, like from like in a video game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But if it was more something we had to interpret our own answers to, that would be really engaging.
Yeah.
I quite liked having the mix, to be honest.
It helps. Trust. I've had plenty of games where it's like I'll go into a combat encounter and it's like I don't even know like the first step of how I'm gonna tackle this, so I'll just like do the default thing my character does. When having like a pretty clear set of objectives is like it helps it makes it so like the character and the way you think you're going to play your character in your head isn't necessarily exactly how it's going to play out. Which is good, because you want your character to be flexible and to be able to like fit a whole bunch of different roles while still ultimately being themselves. But also like I just personally love abstraction in tabletop games. I love it when players like have to come up with their own solutions instead of like there's a pillar, destroy the pillar.
Yeah, this is explored. So we wrote 3 scenarios for the book, and they're all quite slightly different in tone. The one that I wrote, Seasonal Sunday from the Deep, where you use an eldritch horror to make ice cream. That one is quite specifically on purpose a bit more abstract, because it's about giving up your own memories to do things. Or thinking specific thoughts to make the enemy behave in interesting ways. So
like
it's we wanted to kind of, across the sample scenarios that we had, a range of different approaches to, because the recipe writing also informs the tone, the genre a little bit, because you could do like an urban fantasy version of Iera Entera if you wanted to, and that's just the matter of phrasing and where you are and what you're doing. So I guess for this kind of test example, this was kind of a bit more straightforward about the goals to hit. But yeah, you can absolutely get really weird with the instructions if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's like a GM by GM thing.
Yeah.
I had like one more little comment just for and this is more a Roll20 thing than it is like an actual in-game thing. Is for the roll to cook, roll to hunt, like there should probably just be a dedicated teamwork roll. Like instead of just like needing to pick from the list of like, what does this fit? Like I think just teamwork specifically would help categorize that stuff a lot easier.
Teamwork rolls are made without a move. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
They're made with a stat because that's important, but make it teamwork without a move makes sense. Yeah, that is a mechanics thing as well. I had a bit of designing this to be sensible for Roll20 and also sensible for no webcam required a bit of a thought process. And I realized as we were going through, I was kind of, there's like 1/3 of the screen where there is nothing where a picture could be, but I currently have all these kind of like clocks hidden that you don't even get to see until the latter half. I'm so mad. And I only realized that as we were going. I was like, oh no. But so playing tabletop RPGs for air is, in a technical sense, so wildly different from playing with microphones and cameras off. And I'm still, as a producer, working out ways to make it visually entertaining, as well as everybody being on the show being entertaining by yourselves, which is enough. But you know, some people also want the pictures to go with. It's a whole thing. But yes, I think that that definitely highlights. It's worth making clear in the text that teamwork is done without a move, but with a stat. I think that's reasonable enough to mention directly in the text. Not a move.
It owns having a bunch of like games people on as guests because they actually know what they're talking about and can just provide. Like that's refreshing. It's very
Oh,
cool.
an emergent thing that I found as we played. I really love the strategy of using teamwork to do the finishing actions. That was not necessarily intended, but actually,
Right.
rules is written as long as the last, because all the teamwork rolls are made linearly; they don't happen simultaneously. Meaning that the last teamwork roll can finish a cooking part if you do the right thing. And I suppose in that way, it's probably important that you can teamwork with prep, because then it lets you finish rolls. I'll think about that. But no, I really enjoyed that interaction where you could be really crafty and specifically involve teamwork in places to do finish moves and get something within the kind of target value. I thought that was really clever.
Because of the stat framing, I felt like I was almost fighting my character a little bit to roll the low stats. It was I was definitely very much thinking out of character for a lot of it.
Yeah, so I think that ties into like the target value. So what we did to create the what target value is like we got the averages of 46 because that's like the highest dice pool we can get in this game, and created this spread from like 4 and 22 being like the most difficult rolls to land. But what we didn't account for is that, I guess that is something we have to revise, Nathan, is that like when you just roll with 2d6, then the lower options, the lower target values are just going to be like out of the question already. So we actually might have to look into increasing the total like target value, like that range, just make it much higher.
Also, the target value for action that you mentioned. If I roll my 1 die stat thing, I can't fail that.
Yeah, exactly. That is also very true.
But the problem then with if you increase all the target values, it basically means that teamwork is absolutely necessary.
Right.
Which is kind of playing the game as intended. Yeah.
It's just, do you want it to be optional or necessary? I suppose.
Oh, necessary. As how I design games, I always want teamwork mathematically to always be a good idea. So yes, cool.
I don't feel it was necessarily a good idea. In a lot of stages, it was absolutely mandatory. And is that quite as far as you want to take it? And if you do, that's great. I just thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, one of the game experiences that we were excited about in the kind of design was, and this happened in game, so I'm glad it did actually happen, is kind of like, all we need to do is push it just enough up to get it there, and then you overshoot, and then somebody else has to step in to correct back the other way, and that kind of like panic in trying to steer the course was an experience that I wanted. Experientially.
Stat framing, I suppose.
What do the stats mean?
You're stepping in with a 1. You're saving the day, but you're saving the day by doing the thing your character's supposed to be terrible at.
Yeah, that's true.
And that happened quite a bit.
But also like 1 being like doesn't necessarily mean that that's like a stat that your character is bad at, as much as like a stat that your character is very like subdued with, you know?
I guess at the end of the day, you're all competent, so it's not like any of you are bad at what you do because you've been doing this for however long. That's always an interesting thing, because there's a games designer, Greg Leatherman, who did Glitterhots, which is a magical girl RPG, really dislikes how when you read like stat blocks in say Dungeons and Dragons, and when you see a character with really low intelligence and how people roleplay that, really winds him up, because that's not how low intelligence works at the best of times when you kind of see how that's done on average. And really what stats mean is that everybody is competent most of the time, but under pressure, this is the limits of what you can achieve. And I quite like that, because it means that everybody is always going to be actually pretty good. The reason why they're in the scenario is because they're competent, unless the game is designed where being awful and bad on purpose, like if you're playing Fiasco or something, is a thing. So maybe that kind of additional framing text needs to be there, highlighting that worshippers are all competent people, but their ability to influence outcomes varies depending on their approach, maybe is the way to think about it. Where you're good with artisan, you know what things are, you just can't have as much of an influence as somebody who has 4 dice in it.
I like the player like freedom approach to it,
Mhm.
but I do kind of wish there was like a little bit more like GM pushback if you can't rationally explain why you're doing it this way.
I would
Right.
push back more, actually. I think Ruben was
Which,
really kind.
I mean, I'm quite
Ruben
happy
is very
questioning what I'm doing. It's the why, it's the justification that
Yeah.
sometimes is more difficult.
Because instead of being like what we role play with, it just kind of becomes like which stat we think would be best with.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Like for me, a lot of the rationalizations, like I was trying to like work with like establish the baseline, like what is like good GM pushback for this versus like how like the freedom to operate for the players, like what exactly, like how do we navigate these new mechanics.
Mhm.
So for me, like I was very like, yeah, just like liberal in what could go, and like for the next, like hearing you say that, Nathan, like absolutely, like that's actually a good thing. Like the next, then I can just like be a little bit more on like, no, you're gonna have to like turn on the screws a little bit, or like that doesn't fly, or maybe we have to like make the stats definitions a little more precise, so like the boundaries are clear. Because I think Dave also mentioned that like you had this one comment where like I don't really know the difference between sharp and something else, and that is something that we have to like properly delineate.
Sure, that makes sense.
Or alternatively, you could put more requirements in the recipes.
That was what I was going to
make
suggest.
those like
Yeah.
hurdles a little bit more difficult.
Yeah,
Because we have scrolling through, I'm looking through the PDF right now, there's a lot of instances where the move is established, but not necessarily the stat. So going into kind of scenario writing with kind of like force stats more, so they actually have to think about who has the most or least dice in it. Give target values that encourage uses of like 3 dice, maybe a bit more. Those kind of things. Yeah.
cool.
Any more?
I think that's about all I really had in terms of like mechanical stuff.
Sure. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, then we can do a last round of elaborate plugs and wrap up the show. Fantastic. Let's go in reverse order. David, please tell us about yourself and if you would like to be found, where they can find you.
Hi, I'm Dave. I am on Twitter. I just don't really tweet very much. Uncanny Dice. I've sort of been not doing a right lot recently, which is kind of a thing that I needed.
Entirely legit. I respect this decision.
Occasionally I'll tweet about game stuff. I've got a video game project that I'm probably going to get started up relatively soon, like ideally before Christmas, which I might be tweeting about. If you want to listen to me Twitter on about game design stuff.
I mean, you're in the right crowd for that. Hell yeah.
It's nice we like everybody's got video game related stuff going on.
Welcome to
gamers.
we're the quote unquote good type of gamers, I suppose.
Lowercase g gamers.
Sometimes you have to press B.
There we go. Welcoming to the stage once again, Ty.
You can find me on Twitter at TUI_G and 8 Rs. And that's where I tweet most of like my freelance work and also shit posts. And you can check out my personal video game website, Uppercut Crit, at uppercutcrit.gay or at uppercutcrit on Twitter.
Fantastic. Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott B. You can find me Scott Blah on Twitter. I do a million things. I do video game videos, articles, mostly videos, articles. Sometimes I appear on podcasts on videogamechoo.com. I do a comedy wrestling podcast called Wrestling on Air that we're going to record another episode of. It's a very funny show. Please listen to that. We're gonna do another one, I promise. People keep people keep messaging our podcast Twitter and telling us to do another episode, and I really just want to tell them to wait, please. Also, Shootcast Jabroni Delivery is the other active tabletop podcast that I do.
Mhm.
It is another wrestling one. We play WWW-RPG, the Worldwide Wrestling RPG. I play as Broken Mike, a character who is powered by sadness and loves skateboards. We're literally in a few hours we're gonna record our Christmas special, which that's also gonna be on an entirely different rule set that I have not tried yet. I barely have looked at the book, so very excited to do that.
Heck yeah. Hopefully we've given you enough time to be able to recenter yourself before you have to go on again. I was kind of conscious of that, being like, oh no.
A few hours, I'll lie down.
Cool.
Take a nap.
We have our game master for this session, the one and only Ruben.
Hi, I'm Ruben. You can find me in the River Styx. All you have to do is die and put 2 Electrum coins on your eyes. Then I'll be there helping you ferry into a better or maybe a worse world, depending on how sinful you've been in life. Also on Twitter, UrbanFriendN. Thank you. God bless.
Fantastic. And I, once again, am your host from the future, Nathan Blades. Co-GM this time and general producer of this channel. Thanks for tuning in. I genuinely am overjoyed every time somebody wants to go and check out some gay black art, I guess. Yeah, you can follow us here. If you would like to support the channel, you can support us at patreon.com/PhantomArtSent, where not only do you support the channel and get shout-outs in our Arcana Core campaign, you also get the indie RPGs that I write for free, because there's actually one that I released, I guess about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, called Heartbeats in Perfect Sync, which is a tabletop RPG channeling the likes of The World Ends With You, Kingdom Hearts, and Under Night in Birth, where you fight the darkness in people's hearts by summoning oversized weapons from your smartphone. It is, in a word, fucking amazing, which is 2 words. Cool. You can tell that I practiced this in advance. But yeah, it can be yours for £5 now if you go on to sixofspades.itch.io, but you can get it for the low price of $1 if you support me on Patreon. So, you know, stuff and things. But with that, I guess that is all we have time for. Thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you again in the future. Goodbye.
Ciao.
Goodbye.